Good evening, Clashers and Clashettes, coming to you live from NGE Studios in Burbank, California. This is the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Opens, representing Frozen Peak. Still, I'm Christian.
And also still Builder's Workshop, I'm Ella.
We're getting there. And tonight we are bringing we're slowly going like this. Tonight we are here bringing you yet again the greatest duels in Clash Royale history that you can find right now on the web of the internet.
Yeah, they're awesome. And hundreds of thousands of you guys at home have been competing in our open qualifiers during the days, all day. So much stamina there.
Yeah.
And coming tonight's like tonight, the Coronation events. Ooh. And from the Coronation events, 16 players will move on to the arena battles, where 8 will then move on to the crown duels, and one amazing, talented, awesome, handsome, or beautiful, or I mean, I guess both. Yeah. Winner could move on, or not move on, they just take it home from there. What am I thinking? They get $15,000 in a trip to the Supercell headquarters. It's going to be awesome.
Fantastic indeed. That is what everyone, that's the goal. That's the
ultimate
overarching
goal.
narrative. But every single night, every broadcast here, we have 8 players competing for first place, $2,000, second place, $500, third and fourth, $300, and fifth through 8th, $100 each. That is what is on the line for these players tonight. Before we take a look at who those top 8 are, a quick reminder of the rules of the duel here. At the Clash Royale North American Open, we run the standard tournament cap with a double deck submission. That's the key. Each contestant must submit 2 unique decks to us, and by unique we mean at least 4 cards different. To move on, it is extremely, really awesomely simple. You just gotta beat your opponent with both of your decks before they beat you with theirs, and boom, you're one step closer to the top. So let's take a look at who our top 8 are for tonight, who are moving on. Up first, Dark Force versus Mr. B-Boy.
And then we have Yousef versus T-Bone.
Third, Odyssey versus Bassam.
And finally, we have Fetty Wap versus Woody.
That's right, Odyssey. That's such a brilliant name.
Yeah,
Before we get into our matches, let's go over to the couch where we are joined by 2 fantastically handsome human beings ourselves. On the red couch with me, oh look at that, on the red couch with me, host and creator of the Supernatural Cup, it's Rainy.
Good to see you again.
And over here, I have from Ham, who's doing weird.
Oh! Wow!
I'm taking these back.
I thought it was beautiful, Rumham. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. How's everyone feeling tonight? We're here. We only have 3 more left, guys.
No.
3 more coronations left, and then it's it. That's done.
I'm feeling terrible.
Yeah?
I was sitting on this couch.
Yeah, like so.
Crying.
The whole day.
The whole day.
All day, just morning.
I was sitting here playing Clash Royale, and I just lost like 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I had a game that I thought I was going to lose, talking to the camera guy while I was playing.
The whole time talking about how he was going to lose.
I pulled it out in overtime with 64 health left on my tower, and I stood up and was like,
the mic guy was like,
no, but seriously, get ready, put your mic on.
All right, guys, here we go. Again, we only have 3 more coronations left. Before we take a look at our 8 players tonight, let's talk a recap of what happened yesterday. We had Barbarian Hut make it all the way, and we also had
Prince.
That's right, Prince coming in, first time debut, and he actually takes the cake.
He did it.
You know, we've talked how much about the meta changes from broadcast to broadcast, and I think at the very beginning when Ender won with double expos, nobody was like, oh, you know what's going to come around?
Prince
Barb
is going to win, and Barb Hut, that'll be great.
Barb Hut made its debut 2 coronation days ago, won yesterday's coronation, and today we have, I believe, 2 to 3 Barb Hut decks again.
It's
so
in.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, it is in.
You guys are watching.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else do we have today?
Oh, we've got the debut of a new card.
Yes, really?
The Tornado.
It made it in.
Tornado made it.
Oh, that not a weak gust anymore.
Yeah, you were calling it a sneeze yesterday.
So
somebody's
all jokes
here to
aside,
prove us wrong.
I'm gonna say we'll see, but still making it to the top 8 with that card is still impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I want to see how it works because I've tried it and it hasn't felt great. It looks great in the deck list. Do you guys want to guess what kind of deck it's in?
Poison. Expo?
Poison deck?
Sparky.
It's an Expo deck.
Expo. Yeah.
It's an Expo deck, and the idea there is that you are pulling it away from the Expo itself. It has Log in the deck as well, so the combination of Log and Tornado gives you 2 cheap spells that allow you to pull things away from the Expo.
Keep it alive.
Yeah, so we'll see how it works later on.
It can also limit options, I'm thinking, because if a player drops, say, a Golem in the middle, there might be a way to actually pull the Golem behind and make the tower be the one in range, and that could lose you a game.
I really like that idea.
Sweet plays with Tornado.
And it doesn't hit buildings, so it'll never activate anything. That's really cool.
Not that it matters for an Expo deck.
We might see it though. And now a quick reminder of our broadcast schedule. Again, this is the final week, guys. We only have 3 more left, including this one. So yesterday, done. We have our coronation today, and the next one's going to be on Wednesday, the 16th at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then our final coronation day, number 16, is going to be on the 17th, Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that is what we, again, only 3 more left. That's it.
Listen to this part.
Done.
People are always asking me on Twitter when we're on next. I'm like, you guys, it's right there.
Listen, listen to us.
But
Listen,
you know the part
watch.
that they do listen to is
Yeah.
when I ask them to send haikus.
That's right.
Haiku time.
Yeah, that's
You better send some haikus
Which, like,
or else.
okay, I'll forgive you for not listening to when we're gonna be on next, but like, I won't forgive you if you don't send me a haiku.
You can creep her when she says it with a smile because you know that she is very serious. That's right. Send us in your haikus and also let us know if you want to read it.
Yeah, hashtag CLASH&A open. 575 syllables, not words. Christian.
Yeah.
Looking at you, buddy.
I went to school.
There's only 3 more times of that left.
Yeah, I thought that I would like never live down that time in middle school. I ate a cup of like gross stuff for money, but we're really ragging on you.
Yeah.
Well,
for
you
messing
know,
that haiku
Christian
up.
and I,
Education
we
is
might
really-
be roommates soon, so this
That's
is
right.
not the end.
Education and I are very important. We're very close together. Education and I. All right, our first matchup of the night. Let's get right into it. Dark Force versus Mr. B-Boy 06.
What are we looking at?
Dark Force returning.
Yeah,
Mr.
you know-
B-Boy
you know
06,
him.
brand new.
Correct.
You're
Dark
gonna
Force has
whip
been here
out
a few
some
times.
like
I think
awesome
it's actually
dance skills on us.
his
which is-
3rd time. Yeah, he's got all cards that break dance. The minor in his
Awesome.
deck wears the helmet for which it can
Right,
spin on. Right
okay.
now. Rare. We actually are gonna have a Lava Hound matchup. Both players are bringing Lava Hound decks, both with minor. We'll kind of see how that one goes. They're kind of traditional Lava Hound aggro decks. But B-Boy has Golem Graveyard as his 2nd deck, and Dark Force has the minor Furnace Princess, kind of minor Inferno control stuff we've been seeing a little bit of recently.
Well,
It's interesting. Minor Furnace has been a deck that has traditionally been very popular when the tournament feature first got released. But since then, I feel like it's really taken a hit. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rumham, but I don't think we've seen Minor Furnace in a long time.
Yeah, Minor Furnace specifically started to go away with the rise of the giant poison meta, and really even now I'm surprised it's really popular with all the big tanks, because generally when a Furnace comes down, you just, well, put a giant or a golem in that same lane and just happily let the golem tank it all. Great fireball there on the minion horde. The 4 for 5, can't argue with that.
Here comes
Minor
a
popped
Minor!
up just in time! Woo!
That's some Lava Hound. I feel like they're trying to prove you wrong, Rumham. They're trying to say, hey, Lava Hound is still in this.
I like Lava Hound. I mean, so my friend just started playing. My friend just started playing, and I think we've all had this situation where friends ask you questions about cards that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
He literally sent me a Facebook message at 1 in the morning that was like, what is this trash can bat that turns into?
The trash can bat.
So every
I love it.
I've just been calling it a trash can bat for the last 24
Now
hours.
I can't unsee it.
I know. Oh, he's got a little happy face on. You know what? They always talk about confidence.
Does look like a bat.
I know, it's confidence in your body image, and that's what he's got. He's happy about it.
it's okay, Lava.
Go trash
Great
can
placement of
bat,
the miner there to kill those archers. We saw in the very first Lava Hound, it didn't go so hot because the Mega Minion was still around to deal a significant amount of damage.
Lava Hound Mirror, the Lava Hound for Mr. B-Boy, quite a bit more effective than for Dark Force, and we'll push that tower down to a little bit lower health, but everything is all up in the air until we hit double elixir time. And I definitely think that these two decks will probably have their defining moment close to overtime. Let's see, they're going to play Lava Hounds down the same lane, and that's going to change the interaction of this push quite a bit. Tombstone is a card of choice for Dark Force, and that's going to mean that his Lava Hound is going to survive for less time than for Dark Force.
Looks like both Lava Hounds are going down almost at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of. Okay, so one of the big differences between these decks is that Dark Force is running Fireball, Mr. B-Boy is running Lightning, and it's kind of hard to tell which one would be better here because obviously Fireballing the Minion Horde, great.
Right now,
but being able to Lightning, Mega Minion, Miner, all that kind of stuff is also really strong.
I'm super convinced that Lightning is the card to use because Dark Force has used it twice, and that's really been the big difference maker in the left side tower health and the right side tower health. It's just that Lightning was just so much more impactful in actually doing damage to the tower. Let's see if this push makes it, though. That's good use of the Fireball. 2 archers do make it, and that catches him up real quick. And that's the way that you want to use Fireball. You don't really want to use it just to clear units off the board. In a pinch, definitely. But you really want to hit the tower as well. And that situation really lined up for Dark Force.
He took out roughly 6 elixir worth of troops there. He got the Mega Minion almost dead, the Minion actual dead. And
Actual deck.
yeah. Oh, here it comes. And actually, this might be enough right here.
Oh, Steven the Miner! He's gonna get the final hit. The anchor face comes out from Mr. B-Boy, and Dark Force picking up his first game in match number 1.
What do you guys think was the difference in the Lava Hound deck? that pulled
I
out the
definitely
win?
think one of the things that I saw that I would be a little bit hesitant on for Mr. B-Boy was he was using lightning with his Lava Hound as normal, but he was only using it to hit the tower and a tombstone. I think that's not enough to justify it, right? You can justify that with Fireball, because Fireball only costs 4, Tombstone costs 3. It's hard to punish 1 elixir. But when you use lightning, that's 3 elixir gone. Hey, 3 elixir means a free miner, right? And as we saw at the end of the game, what ended it all for Mr. B-Boy? A miner.
Right.
That could have been the lightning, right?
Yeah, I think against Inferno Tower decks, you'd rather have the lightning, but in this matchup of Lava Hound decks where neither player has a big tower that you're really afraid of, the Fireball was much more effective. And also, being able to cycle faster probably allowed him to get his next Lava Hound out sooner.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that kind of battle. Mr. B-Boy, though, really impressed by his arrows. Arrows seemed like it was really good at stopping the lava pups, minions, all that kind of stuff.
We've seen not a lot of people running arrows anymore because, again, it doesn't deal with archers, which we've seen as like a staple in most of the decks these days. And also, just a reminder for everyone, like, to get to this top 8 point, they had to go through so many people in the open qualifiers.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
And so these decks have to be really versatile against all the things they've gone up against. So just in case, people are like, oh, why did you pick that card against that deck? Like, well, they had to submit these decks way before they even got here. And so this is where we are.
They've probably played more rounds to get to the top 8 than you'll actually see in the top 8.
Yeah.
They probably play at least 3 to 4 rounds of elimination. We can hold up to 512 people in every Coronation Day, and we play all the way to the top 8 before the broadcast starts.
Yeah.
So they have definitely cut through. Yeah, Mr. B-Boy has definitely laid out his cardboard in other people's areas.
I'm here. I'm just gonna stay here right now.
Spinning and spinning and spinning.
Yeah, I just love silly names. I mean, the more I can make up stories, just kind of people watch, right? Like, I don't know anything about Mr. B-Boy, but I know that he's breaking, popping, and locking all over his opponents.
Is that a heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heart at the end. He's got a heart emoji.
Nice, Mr. B-Boy. Nice.
So good.
All right, now before we get into our next matchup, I want to gauge Rumham and Rainey's mind for this. I started a deck, and the idea is I'm going to call it the Swarm deck. I'm going to create this new meta. It's called the Swarm meta. I tried it out last night. I had over 83 skeletons on the field at once.
Oh my
And they just
God.
all just swarmed the enemy.
And you wonder why your phone breaks when you play the game.
And now I can't play on my phone anymore. All right, well, here we go. Dark Force is up 1-0 against Mr. B-Boy. If he can pick this one up, he's going to move on to the semifinals. Great lightning we started out.
I really like that idea of an all-skeleton deck. They should print a card that's maybe like a rolling log with spikes that maybe kills every skeleton. Do you encounter that card? Do you see that card?
No, I don't see that at all.
That happened to my skeleton deck.
Nope. It is sad when they drop a bowler, though. Real sad.
Princess.
You just leave the game.
50
You're
elixir.
just like, I can't do this.
50 elixir, gone.
Now, the golem decks we've seen be much more successful in overtime, so it's not looking too great for Mr. B-Boy here in game 2, already down a game, and it's a situation where I think he really wants to have that tower as close to dead as possible. The furnace is going to help seal the lane, sort of protect it a little bit. Any miners that come down, any sort of pushes that are going to come down that lane, all of them are going to be met by exploding fire spirits that weaken the push before it ever reaches the
Oh, look at this, going under right here. Golem gets dropped.
Is that what your deck?
Yeah, that's how sweet Christians
That brings up some nightmares right there.
Oh man. Archers to help out a little bit. Is there lightning? No, he's opting not to play the spell. Something interesting is Furnace, Tombstone, pretty good against Golem.
Oh,
Barbarian Hut, great against Golem. Furnace,
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about this a lot, but just a reminder, the nice thing about Furnace is if you place it at this tournament cap, the Fire Spirits, if unanswered, one of them will get to the tower and do damage.
yes.
Yeah, it's actually, Furnace is one of these weird cards where below tournament cap, at level 6 and below, the level 8 Fire Spirits do not make it to the tower, even against level 8 towers, right? Like, it's even levels, but as soon as you hit tournament cap, they survive up like 1 hit point, and then every level beyond that, they work as intended. Whoa, sorry,
Big
Princess.
lightning, removing the princess off the board. I think it was really
here we
great
go.
for Mr. B-Boy, or rather for Dark Force to remove the Ice Golem, but here comes a Graveyard spell. Skeleton Army to block that is working really effectively. Here comes a log, but maybe just a little bit too late. A few of the skeletons from the army survive, and good defense from Dark Force. That was crazy.
Yeah, Dark Force has actually really impressed me so far. This minor control deck is, built for defense. I mean, this is the sort of the deck that between the Inferno Tower, the Princess, and the Skeleton Army, and of course even just Furnace setups, it's really hard to actually push through. Golem is probably one of the decks most able to do so. And Mr. B-Boy's looking pretty good going into overtime. Both towers are down to under 2,000 health. It's only going to take one or two really strong pushes to take it down.
Interesting to note, I think Dark Force is doing that to avoid lightning on the Furnace, but he's playing it in the back left, not using it to contribute in a Golem pool of any sort. Here comes the Inferno Tower, but lightning was already spent before the Golem even crossed the bridge, and just a sliver of health, and the Inferno Tower was still able to burn through that Golem.
Oh, the Graveyard.
Graveyard did not a chip.
Okay.
Great use of the log from Mr. B-Boy to remove the Skeleton Army from the field, allowing the Graveyard to start building up skeletons, and another big lightning, and it's in overtime, so the next time lightning comes up, this game is over.
It's over. It's 1 card, 2 cards. Although that miner's getting kind of close there.
Wow.
He needs to cast, I think, a 3rd and 4th card, and then he can lightning for the win.
There's 3.
There's a log.
There's 4. And wait for it. One
Drop
more
cards by your
elixir.
tower. You just need 2 that hard.
Hey, there it is. Lightning
Although
going up.
Dark Force brought it pretty close there. I mean, that miner was swinging. The fireball is going to do another 229 damage.
Might have been a situation where if you did drop those archers next to your tower, you don't know. Maybe they would have blocked the lightning. Maybe, right?
It seems like lightning did do better for him in this
Yes.
deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he's going up against an Inferno Tower deck, right?
Right.
That's why you would play lightning.
Exactly.
Is besides just the huge amount of damage, resetting the Inferno Tower is A+, very important.
That's right. One of the things that, like you said there, B-Boy kind of learning from the first mistake where Skeleton Army gets dropped to block Graveyard. Graveyard is able to do no damage at all. Log comes in a little too late. Next time you kind of preemptively drop that log down. Is there any world in which if you are Dark Force, I guess you can't really wait for the log to come out, because if you do, then all of a sudden, you kind of...
That's why Graveyard is such a troublesome spell to deal with, right? The instant you place that card down, you kind of want to react immediately, because the longer you wait, the more skeletons build up, and that's already damage taken to your tower, right? So do you want to take... If you wait, you know you can clear out the skeletons, but maybe it's already done 500 damage to your tower, 600 damage to your tower, and in that case...
Like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is that fine? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if I always try to think about if I do maybe 100 damage, 150 damage per the elixir spent, I'm pretty happy about that. So if I
like that.
Yeah, so if I deal 500 damage for 5 elixir, not really the end of the world. The downside of the Golem decks or Lava Hound decks to push is that usually you're spending more than just 5. You're spending a pretty expensive tank along with it.
All right, one thing, as we get into this next game, which will decide who will move on to the semifinals and who is going to be cut for tonight's Coronation, I just want to, Rainey, if you want to explain it, I remember some people are a little confused about the win percentages, the win rates down at the bottom. If you want to explain that again.
That is each player's consistency getting up to the top 8. So we're in the top 8 right now. That means Dark Force, with a 63% win rate, actually dropped a lot of games in the earlier rounds. He did not actually
in the open
lose.
qualifiers today.
Yes, he didn't actually lose a match, evidently, because it's single elimination, but he's had a lot of 2-1 score lines.
Actually, oddly enough, that scoreline is something you can only get from having a draw.
Oh!
Think about it, because if you win 2-1 in every single game, that's 67%.
Okay.
So he had to have won
Yeah,
at least
math.
something by draw.
Wow. It is.
Oh, I also have a confession to make. I rewatched yesterday's CRNAO and I made a huge mistake. I said Zap did 67 at tournament cap. It does 68.
Oh, that one point might matter.
I know.
That one point might matter.
Hang me from the
somebody call
highest.
you out on
Yeah. When people are like, I cringed so much when he said 67, and I'm like, oh.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat, for keeping us honest. Quiz chat, always just the greatest place.
Oh,
for
best-
honesty,
best human beings.
Honesty and kindness.
If you were ever wondering about yourself, they will tell you.
I think only rivaled by, I've never met kinder people than the YouTubers that watch.
Oh. YouTube stretches the limits of the English language.
You gotta bring a dictionary when you're watching this. Fireball coming out there for Dark Force, 60 seconds. We are in double elixir time, so let's see. A lot more damage on Mr. B-Boy's tower on Dark Force.
Wow, these Fire Spirits have gotten some really good time. I don't know if you noticed this, but they're getting really, really close to the to the skeleton, but then not dying because the tower shot is already kind of in the air to kill the skeletons.
Ah, Princess, no!
Princess behind you!
Behind you, watch out.
Poor Princess.
We were talking about how Furnace isn't so good against Golem, but it's feeling really good against all these Lava Hound pushes right now because it's blowing up on the minions that are nearby the Lava Hound, and just Lava Hound has something like 40% less hit points than the Golem, so
Also,
it's doing a lot of damage
and
to it
when the
relatively.
pups come out, they can clear. I think both of them at least clear like the first 3.
Yeah, at least the closest ones.
Especially in this situation, watch these minions and this minion horde. They're
Wow.
going to get up really close to the. Oh wow, they get removed
God.
by
Princess.
Zap and the princess.
Oh, value, Princess.
Oh, Princess.
Ella, earmuffs, don't even look at this. It's too painful.
Yeah, the lava hound is really. Uh-oh, hold. Oh my
hold
gosh.
the phone though, hold the phone!
Wait, wait,
B-boy, just as we're counting him out. Oh
You
wow,
guys,
comes out
why
there.
does this keep
And
happening?
Mr. B-boy takes it down. At the moment, we're all like, oh, this game's over.
This
Minor
keeps
fireball. This is going to be
happening.
it. Oh, never mind. He totally forgot.
That was a greedy fireball. He fireballed nothing to try to win the
To
race a
race
little
it.
bit, but if he would have just fireballed all those lava pups, he might have
Would've
still
won.
won the game on the
Yeah.
next push or something like that. But he didn't need
There's
to do
just,
that.
I mean, Lava Hound
God.
is too slow of a deck. There's no way you can actually get the Lava Hound across the river
Yeah.
again. If you just eliminate all the pups, you buy yourself
So
30
much more
seconds
time.
at least, and you can find a way to cycle to your fireball in 30 seconds.
So
Right.
just a little maybe greed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lava Hound is dead. Long live Lava Hound!
Hey!
Moving on to the next
I'm
round.
okay with that.
Yeah, there you
It's in
go.
my deck.
Taking notes.
So let's take a look at our first free play.
Oh,
What do we
Golem
think
is just
here?
so great. Golem Lightning. So, interestingly enough, in this scenario, Lightning had already been spent before the Golem crossed the river, and you can see just how strong Inferno Tower is. Though, the Golemites are still a great tank for the graveyard, plus the fact that Log came in and eliminated the defensive skeleton army, so much damage piled onto the tower.
Yeah, the
Great
log
point.
was a decision there because he had already seen the skeleton army in previous ones. So watch this. Zap to weaken him. Princess to finish him off. I can't believe this even worked. That push looked like it was dead in the water. The miner comes in, though, to tank not just the tower, but all those incoming fire spirits and allows
yeah.
the pups just to work him over.
So there's something that's really important. I think in the last broadcast, and actually over Twitter, somebody asked me, what do you think is the best Lava Hound deck? And I was talking about, I think that it's almost a necessity to have Miner with your Lava Hound. Just because of the fact, just take a look at that
Let me
situation.
tell you.
Rumham said, Furnace didn't look impressive against Golems, but it did look impressive against Lava Hounds. One of the big reasons is if you play the Lava Hound and you play, say, like minions and minion horde in the back, just like there, the minions actually catch up to the Lava Hound, and then any splash that goes onto the Lava
them all.
Hound actually catches the minions, and so those get removed, right? Especially with Furnace, you imagine Fire Spirits jumping on the Lava Hound. Well, if they're having a party and minions and minion horde is hanging around the Lava Hound, they actually get wiped off the board as well.
Yeah.
Now think about that situation when you add in Miner. All of a sudden, the point that the princess is shooting and the point that the lava hound, the fire spirits are jumping on are separate from where the minions are. And then this becomes very dangerous because single target troops have a hard time locking onto minions themselves. Even if they do lock onto one, once that minion dies, it's very likely they'll lock onto the lava hound. And the instant that happens, the rest of the minions just go to town.
There you go. If you guys have a Lava Hound deck, get a Miner. Super easy. Just gotta get a Miner, then all of a sudden it's
Somebody
amazing.
give me a dang Miner.
All right, up next we have Yousef versus T-Bone. So T-Bone returning.
Haven't seen.
Yousef also returning. The name sounds so familiar.
You know, yeah, Yousef is in and out of my clan sometimes, so I feel
really?
like I'm more I feel like, oh, he's been here before, but like, was that just a friendly battle? Was it all a dream? I think he might have been here before. Either way, T-Bone has definitely been here multiple times.
Yep.
And we have a Barb Hut match.
Hey!
Both players are actually
right.
running identical Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer Hog Rider deck that we've seen in the last couple Coronation days, and it looks like at least Yousef's opening up with it. T-Bone is opening up with his Royal Giant Furnace deck, so expect to see Big Papa Cannon.
So is
Cannon.
Aviation your guild then?
No, not at all. No, he's in and out.
Gotcha.
A lot of the top players clan hop a lot, so I think he's officially in Aviation, but he comes over for friendly battles and stuff.
Gotcha. That's smart. Trying to test it. Obviously, it's worked out well for him as he
absolutely.
is now here at the Clash Royale North American Open.
Oh, there's no building. Oh, there's the Barb Hut, just a little bit too late. I would imagine that Barb Hut would be pretty good against Royal Giant, but this Royal Giant will be incredibly effective. 1,000 damage, done and done, easy.
The thing I'd be concerned about is, could the next Royal Giant be played at the river and reach that Barb Hut?
Yep.
Oh, jump across the river, get shot by 2 towers. No, the Barbarians actually tank one of them. skeletons pile onto the Hog Rider.
Now,
Furnace is not long.
Will Furnace actually beat out a Barbarian Hut because they're going to be spawning faster and they're going to actually probably be making it and doing damage?
Beating out's sort of a weird word. I don't think that the Furnace is going to kill it, but keep in mind that Barbarian Hut is 7 elixir to the Furnace is 4, and I think the Furnace will largely make it irrelevant. Like, it's going to weaken the Barbarians a lot. There's only 5 waves of barbs that come out, and every single one is going to eat some amount of...
I go to about half.
About 4 Fire Spirits each will jump, actually. All right, Mega Beat is actually dominating the field right now. It is swinging and swinging and swinging. Finally doesn't get taken down by the archers, but it did actually so much health and damage. Definitely gained its value there.
Oh man, these archer placements are so good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Barbarian Hut that far up is just asking to get killed by a variety of things. I mean, it can generate 7 elixir worth of value, but the body is still defenseless, right? The building can still be shot at a long range from Royal Giants, Musketeers, even Expos, as we saw in the
last game. That's the other part of the deck. There's the Barbarian Hut, and there's also the 3 Musketeers.
Ow.
We'll be able to take down the Royal Giant. I actually think that worked out for T-Bone, though, because he got damage on the tower, and where's the counterattack for Yousef?
And that was 15 total elixir compared to Yousef's 11, so it wasn't too terrible. Great hog log.
Oh, man. One of the reasons why this combo, the Hog Rider and the Log, is so effective, and players have definitely identified that.
Yep. Now, I think, unfortunately, the Royal Giant's going to be out of range. Look at that. The barbs will get onto it, but the tower is not helping.
Oh, interesting.
And that is bad news bears for, for Yousef. Because, I mean, the Royal Giant has not a ton of hit points, but it's got a lot when your tower's not shooting it.
Yes. It's really only the archers contributing damage on this big fireball. Will remove the archers, do damage to the tower, and it's come down to a slugfest. Yousef is actually... could potentially take another 1,000 damage because of this Royal Giant here. Archers are going to try to clear out the Skeleton Army. Good positioning on the Barb Hut.
Great by the Fire Spirits, too, just to kind of weaken them, flush it out. That arrows actually did a great job at killing one of the barbs. Ooh, Skeleton Army.
The good old Gog combo.
Wow.
Gog.
A little bit of mind games there. He was trying to log a Skeleton Army placement. The Skeleton Army didn't come out in time, was placed after, and there was no real good answer.
Ooh, Royal Giant now placed way in the back. What is he gonna, why is he doing that to build? What is he gonna put along with it?
That's a good question. I mean, I assume that he wants to save up for a Lightning as well, so that now he can Lightning along with it. The Archers and Furnace provide great support. And now, let's see, I don't actually see the Lightning coming down. Maybe he's opting to hold on it.
I mean, yeah, now, if you are T-Bone, do you just wait now until you see 3 Musketeers to play Lightning?
Oh, that's a good point. So he probably can't play the 3 Musketeer or the Lightning for fear of it getting wiped out. Oh, you know what, though? It also helps him cycle back to his Royal Giant a little quicker. That second Royal Giant came out.
That's a lot of units there for you.
Ooh, one shot, all that effort for one blast. And I don't know if what took that last Lightning shot. I don't know if it was just aimed bad.
I didn't see the
Ice Golem would be the logical thing, but the Ice Golem didn't take the shot, so I don't know what happened.
All right, well, a lot of damage going through. That's going to be it. Yousef is going to pick up the victory, and that is going to be 1 game for Yousef now against T-Bone.
Congrats.
That was 1 game.
So, why was he playing the Barb Hut so close to the river?
The idea is if you actually play them if you play them all the way back, or even 1 square up, they don't pull Hog Riders anymore. So you have to put them at least 2 squares up from your King Tower in order to pull Hog Riders. He was playing some of them really far up, I think, to play it late enough so that the Royal Giant would walk into range and then turn to the side, because if you play it too far up, as we saw, the Royal Giant just stands on the bridge outside of tower range.
Yeah. What was the best thing? Because right in there, the Hog Rider made it straight to the tower. There was no Furnace to kind of stop it. Why didn't T-Bone keep having the tower up? Or I get Yousef.
I mean, T-Bone was going for it. Like, he spent a lot of elixir on 2 Royal Giants that combined for 1 shot on the tower, and I think that was sort of the turning point. He invested so much elixir into it and didn't really get the value out of it, that on that counterattack he was just a little short-handed on having cards. And really a fireball came down at the same time to help clear out whatever was being played. And I mean, shout out to Yousef. He had some really great predictions in that game with the log on the Skeleton Army, with some fireballs on archers that were coming out like right as the archers were placed. So yeah,
right, 1 step ahead. So what is our thinking now between Barb Huts versus Royal Giant? Good stop, good defense.
Didn't seem bad.
I actually think that Royal Giant needs to be played with a little bit more care than when it first kind of rose to popularity. It's definitely one of those cards that you don't want to play it purely aggressively, right? It's so easy to just lose your elixir because the Royal Giant isn't quite as healthy, doesn't quite do as much damage as the Giant counterpart. And so playing it at the bridge with no good supporting units and having your opponent have full elixir in hand to deal with it is actually not the most effective use of that card. And I think that T-Bone really paid for that in that last game.
A very little shortcoming on the placement there by the Mega Minion. The red Mega Minion of T-Bones was just a little too close to the other Mega Minion, and it got attacked during the deploy time, meaning that blue Mega Minion wins and went on to actually do a lot of damage to that Royal Giant. That just shows how precise you have to be with your placements. If something is a little too close and gets attacked during its deploy time, it loses the mirror match, right? The head-to-head, every unit should kill each other right at the same time, but if the other one gets the jump on you, you're in bad shape.
Gets the jumps. All right. Tombstone versus Furnace. And the Furnace is going to eliminate the 2 skeletons on the Royal Giant. Actually, the archers do that job for them.
Oh!
Wow.
Wow.
That's a way to get the Royal Giant to be incredibly effective. Has to spend the extra elixir on the Fireball, and the Royal Giant still gets damage.
Wow.
That's how you want your Royal Giants to play out.
Yeah, and he just took the lead pretty quickly like that.
Yeah, and the elixir is just about even.
Oh, you're right. Good timing, because that's not only a 1 elixir advantage, but of course, if your opponent spends 3 elixir and gets 0 out of it, like they just, whoa.
Yep, oops.
I mean, cards like Skeleton Army are valuable because even when they get killed, they usually do a little bit before they go. Not the case there.
That's why those predictions, the reads, are very important in Clash Royale. They're becoming more and more important as the competitive scene develops. Royal Giant steps across, takes 1 shot at the Tombstone, but absolutely gets eliminated, and that's bad. That's really what you don't want to see. Archers in the back doing a great job against the Graveyard. Here comes a Fireball to remove them, and a few more skeletons pop out, and all of a sudden,
wow!
Just like that,
whoa.
the instant the Archers were removed, skeletons just started popping out like rabbits.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, we keep saying like the lead's going back and forth here. It was like 30 seconds ago that it was 1,600 health on T-Bone's tower to 2,000 on Yousef's tower, and they are just shredding each other with each push.
Oh, there's no log this time. The Furnace will do the best it can. Our arrows comes down, but that was another Royal Giant that might spell doom for T-Bone. Giant is now across the river.
Back.
The Mega Minion is tanking for the Graveyard, not the actual Giant, but now the Giant gets targeted. The Mega Minion is the only thing. No, there's 2 archers squeezed into the side, but the Giant is still pretty healthy. Has to play another 4 elixir on the Furnace. Here comes a big Fireball. Removes so many things from the side of T-Bone.
Just a bit late. I mean, yeah, the Fireball is really good there. You can just tell his opponent didn't actually have a ton of elixir to support it with. Uh-oh. Royal Giant's got a good amount of health. 1 shot.
Whoa.
2 shots. Can you get a 3rd one? No.
Oh, it doesn't matter because lightning is going to take it down. That's going to be T-Bone tying up against Yousef 1-1 here in our second match of the night.
So important.
Lightning, when you forget about it.
Yeah, we
There it
all
is,
we all
winning the
obviously
game.
forgot about it.
Yeah. Such a big difference when there was a Fireball to assist with the Graveyard as opposed to not. It's a rare situation as well because that in itself is already 9 elixir. Graveyard plus Fireball, and you have to play the Giant, and you have to play the Mega Minion, and you have to play the Archers. That gets to be a lot of elixir, and that's really Graveyard's biggest weakness is 5 big bucks. Yep.
Okay, so how do these next 2 decks match up?
Well, they're both on their alternate decks now.
Great.
This is going to be T-Bone's Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer deck, playing the exact same one that Yousef was playing, up against Yousef's Giant Skeleton Army Graveyard deck. So you're going to really see those Barbarian Huts earn their keep there because that's exactly what you want, right? Just a Giant. Yes, not even a Giant backed up by a Bowler, just a Giant.
Just a Giant.
There's log in there for the Skeleton Army, but he's going to have to be careful because there is Graveyard. So you're going to have to be very careful with your archers, your logs, ice golems, because if you ever find yourself without one, that Graveyard could overrun you.
You're done.
Yousef, though, has a couple paths to victory here. I mean, he's got the Fireball Zap for 3 Musketeers, so if he can be real quick about it, he might be able to actually pull off that double spell to wipe all 3 Musketeers. It kind of depends on where they're played and how. If you split the Musketeers, it's much harder to pull that off.
We also talk about, I don't know if T-Bone is running, or if Yousef is running log, but you said logging Fireball is really hard against 2 Musketeers because both knock them back.
Yeah, it's Zap and Fireball. So it's actually, that usually helps because Zap can go first and stun them and hold them in place for a half second while the Fireball hits. But yeah, every player has made that mistake before, where you accidentally fireball lands first and then
Oh, there's the log.
Good defense.
That's a pretty healthy
good offense.
Pretty healthy Hog Rider, 2 cents.
Now the Giant has to walk alone across the river against a Mega Minion and a Bar Putt. Big fireball coming down, reducing a lot of health. Here comes the Skeleton Army, actually, and will distract the Barbarian, and that might help the Giant get a swing. Oh!
The wind just, but not enough. And again, this is 1-1. It's all tied up. The next game between these two competitors will be pushing one of the semifinals.
What a counter push.
One of them
Oh my God.
Oh.
That is maybe the best 5 elixir push in the game.
Yeah.
Ice Golem plus Archers. It's right up there with
Look how
Knight
much
plus
you
Goblins.
have
You know what I mean?
in that
Like, yeah, those are good pushes.
I just noticed, Ramham, that you said Giant Skeleton Army in between games, and I can't get that out of my head now. A Giant Skeleton Army.
Do you remember the April Fools?
What was it?
So they did an April Fool's joke, and they had a dev build, and anyone who was like a content creator got to make like a game like, oh man, the next balance update. And they had a tombstone, a giant tombstone that spawned giant skeletons. Giant skeletons.
Christian would love that.
That was
Oh my
my
God.
card.
There was also a mortar that fired
you
goblin
would love
barrels.
Oh,
No way.
Yeah. It was a pretty sweet April Fool's
That
joke.
sounds incredible.
put that in, please.
Oh, good
Why
fireball.
is that a
Takes-
joke?
Yeah. Sounds a pop. Ooh.
Nice. That
Open
one
out.
Musketeer will still contribute. You have to play Elixir for this because that Barbarian will actually tank for the Musketeer.
The deadliest crappy push right there. A near dead Musketeer and 1 Barbarian. That could be about 500 damage on your tower.
You never know.
Yep. We've seen T-Bone construct that twice already. Oh, 3 Musketeers.
Uh-oh.
No, they're
all locked on.
Oh, this
Here comes a Skelebros.
Archers go down. The fireballs used not to take out the archers, but to start damaging the 3 musketeers. That's still a half health tower, more than half. That one push.
And Tombstone will protect the towers from taking too much damage here. Hog Rider on the response. There's a
There's
big
the log.
And only archers to defend now. Hog Rider gonna get 2 swings. It's such a back and forth game though. As we approach overtime, that's gonna allow T-Bone to push all in with his Hog Rider. But same thing for Yousef. Pushing all in with Graveyard is actually so difficult to stop, and I think that might be Yousef's ticket to victory. But the Giant makes it. What happened to the defense? What happened?
Now there's 5 seconds left, and it looks like there's nothing that T-Bone is going to be able to do. Yousef gives the thumbs up, and that is going to be Yousef picking up his second game, moving on to the semifinals.
Congratulations. Well, T-Bone has 2 more nights, right?
And yeah, I was actually just thinking about that. Like it's as we're getting closer to the end of the Coronation days, players like T-Bone, who I believe was in his 4th or 5th top 8, I mean, he's very easily
Super consistent.
very consistent. Maybe the most underrated of the players who have made that, because not a big YouTuber, not a streamer, so we just kind of go, oh, I guess he's just in the top 8 again, beating everybody, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunate for T-Bone, you're right, he has 2 more shots, but time is running out.
Not tonight. All right, let's pull up our first replay. Check out the Hog Rider.
Hog Rider is
I want
such
to
a
meet the voice actor.
Hog Rider!
nice.
There's that lightning.
I think it might have just been aimed weird.
Huh.
I don't, because the Ice Golem bug got fixed.
Yes.
So that's not an Ice Golem protection thing.
Ice Golem is so key in this. Just the 3 cards that really assist Hog Rider a lot is Ice Golem and Log, or rather the 2 cards, the Hog being the 3rd card in that combo. Skeleton Army is no longer a great option against Hog Rider if Ice Golem exists, because the Ice Golem will not only tank the damage, but also eliminate all the skeletons when it dies, leaving the Hog Rider free to swing and swing and swing and swing and swing. Beautiful.
Swing.
Very good.
And swing.
And swing.
The
Swing.
next, I kind of go back and forth between what legendary I want next. Is it Log or is it Graveyard? I love
Graveyard.
Really?
Graveyard.
That was fast.
Graveyard.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Guess you don't know when you don't have
Log
these
keeps rolling. You
legendaries.
can always replace Log with something else. There's
Yep.
arrows, there's Zap. There ain't no card that replaces
Yep.
Graveyard.
All right.
There ain't
well,
no
there you
card.
go. That is the next legendary I want. Well, we have our 2 semifinalists out of our 4. Let's go and pull up the bracket and take a look at what has happened so far. If you were just now tuning in, Dark Force talking about this. Dark Force actually is moving on because Mr. B-Boy 06 is getting DQ'd.
Great player, unfortunately, from France.
Not
Okay.
not from North America. And this is the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Open when we have the the French opens.
Right.
Yeah,
then,
that'll be fine.
Mr. B-Boy, then we'll see you over there. But unfortunately, because of that, he is being DQ'd. So Dark Force is moving on to face off against Yousef, who just won against T-Bone.
It just goes to show how many players are out there that are fantastic at the game, and I would love to be able to see different countries participate. Unfortunately, this is just the North American Open.
We are building towards that, though, right?
Yeah.
We have North American Open. In the future, there could be a European Open, an Asia Pacific Open, and then maybe the crown duel winners of all
World
of
That would be
Open.
awesome,
Oh my
and we
God.
could have haikus in every language, and I wouldn't understand them, but they would exist.
There was just no reaction.
Other than, I mean, like, here's the thing. Haikus have to work in Japanese because that's the word haiku, right?
How do you know that, Rumham?
But I'm trying to wonder how it works in languages like German, where each word is like 7 syllables.
Well, maybe we'll find out. If somebody speaks a different language, you send us a haiku.
Actually, that would be amazing. Yeah, send us one maybe
Hashtag
potentially
slash
today
NA open.
in a different language. We'll try to read it in that language.
Avengers,
and essentially-
gosh.
Avengers send them to you in Spanish sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
There you go. So maybe there's.
Yeah, so thank you guys for that. All right, we are getting ready to go into our next matchup. It is going to be probably my favorite name I've seen so far. Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Oh,
This guy loves the ocean versus Passam. So
The sea. He loves the sea. There's a difference, Christian. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
what's the big?
What school did
Seas
you
and
go
oceans
to?
are different.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Sea,
Oh yeah.
Pacific Sea. Get out of here. Beat it. Kick rocks, kid. No. Seas are landlocked.
Yeah. Oceans are not.
Let's talk about the next game.
Seas.
What school did you go to? You don't know how to write haikus.
I didn't go to school. Let's talk about the next game.
That's why you're the looks and the charisma of this town.
The truth comes out.
I got not for
In these
this. 16
16 coronation days, we did so well in the start, but now it's all falling apart.
Yeah.
The truths of each of us on this couch
Yeah, but
are about to be revealed in the last few days.
Wow. Okay. Clash Royale. What are we
Losing it.
seeing next?
Odyssey. Oddly enough, no water-based things in his deck. We're gonna have.
Really?
Okay, so
No ice golems or ice spirits?
You're right. Water. Ice is water. It's my
What
turn to
school did
reveal
you
that
go
I have no science.
Oh, no.
I am. Science is really tough. Okay, no. Here we go. Okay.
He's
Odyssey's
gone.
running a bowler graveyard, really like a control deck. It's got Inferno Tower, Ice Golem. It's hard to say. It doesn't really follow any sort of consistent pattern, but it is a bowler graveyard deck. It's kind of cool. His other deck is a Lava Hound deck that has Inferno Dragon in it, a card that I know we all like watching and have been rooting for, even though it has fallen just a little titty bitty short. Passam running a Golem deck with Valkyrie that we haven't seen a whole lot. Valkyrie's sort of a
okay.
rare card, but the other deck, Expo with
Hey.
Tornado. We're finally getting to see that.
Tornado!
Hopefully
I'm
we
so excited.
I want to see it played right because I don't play it right.
The thing
obviously,
is,
'cause it's
Tornado
not working
being
for me.
Tornado being 3 elixir, it's so easy for me to imagine so many situations where someone's like, it's a great idea to use Tornado. It does a bit, but it doesn't justify 3 elixir, and then they get killed. I mean, earlier today, we already saw a game lost because 3 elixir was thrown away. Lightning on the tower and Tombstone, 3 elixir down, and then he lost the game, right? So you need to make sure that when you use Tornado, it's impactful.
Yeah.
It
Well,
needs to be impactful.
I think what you said was a great idea. If you're using it in an Expo deck, and we've seen the only thing that an Expo needs is to lock onto a tower once, right? Get a good Expo, that could be the game. If you can have a Tornado pull a unit just far away, so when the Expo locks on, the first thing technically inside is a tower, that might be great.
I'm just trying to imagine what the farthest somebody has to put their card is before it doesn't actually get pulled behind the tower by the Tornado.
Tornado is huge radius, like as big as
It is-
Graveyard.
it is pretty
Do we know what
Very,
they're
very
playing
hard.
yet?
Yeah, well, Passam has this Tornado Expo deck, and Odyssey is got the Graveyard Bowler deck.
There it is, Rumham. We say it all the time, but rarely do players do it, and we think it's a great idea. The old defensive expo.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially great early in the game because you haven't set your cycle up yet. You don't have the exact cards in the exact order that you want. So it's a good thing just to get out of your hand early in the game and, like, you at least aren't going to get punished early on.
I actually feel with this expo deck using Tornado, you might actually want to delay until you feel like you can do a one-hit wonder and
Against
take out
you.
the opponent's tower in one go.
Graveyard.
That's good defense.
I mean, it's 3 seconds long, which given that Graveyard is 10 seconds long, you might be able to wait a second or two for some of the skeletons
Right,
to come
they don't
out.
hit that mass.
Yeah, they don't mass up early on, and then you Tornado them both away from the tower and to their death.
So
I
sad.
mean, they're already dead. They're skeletons.
Right, yeah, they're fine.
Yes.
They're undead.
To their undoing, we'll use.
Right. Uh-oh. Now the bowler cast, that's a perfect time to get your Expo out. Great counter there. Wow, Passam's very unfortunate. That's like the worst thing that can happen to your Expo is to have an Inferno Tower kill it. I almost wonder if Passam just abandoned it. Like, he's like, you know what? That sucks. Just too bad.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah. He should be ready for it the next time, though. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Shame on what?
Yeah.
You shame on you immediately?
I like these two towers just hanging out.
Fool me once, you shame on me.
Shame on me.
How dare I?
That's, yes.
The Eye of Sauron up top and the Sauron's Tower down below. Just two evil towers in the hills.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
There's like add-ons here that you can change Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Great.
goodness.
Where is it? Please
love
make
that.
it. Please make it.
Oh, wow,
Blow
that
your
fireball
head.
was awkward.
Lord of the Rings has
The units that look like but are legally different from the ones you love.
So sad but true. Wow, Graveyard with really nothing.
No, the reason why you do that is because minions are out of his hand. He just showed you his 3 elixir minions are gone, so you know he doesn't have one of the best answers.
Give us the
to
big
card.
time tornado,
Yikes.
but how do you reduce damage on your tower? He actually did spend it. Here comes
yeah.
the next Expo.
Oh,
Hey, shame on him.
Shame on him. And this time he was ready. Takes down the Inferno Tower. There it is.
There's a tornado.
There
Whoa,
it is.
whoa.
But the Ice Golem.
I don't really know.
that was a card you could play. You know, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think I'm excited to
that's
see.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, like I'm glad that like we're seeing tornado. I'd like to see some more uses for it, but that's kind of the downside of tornadoes. That there's times where it's the spell in your hand, and it may not be as good as a log or a zap. That's both cheaper and has a little bit more of a tangible effect there.
All right, well, now we're going into overtime here, into sudden death. The first tower to fall will give the victor.
Ooh, there it is.
If the minions come down there in the sky, and Fireball comes out to kill him.
Drop the Ice Golem, and there it is. The skeletons in the back will actually get some free time, though.
Oh,
Put a couple shots in there.
Ooh,
the minions
nice
come down
Mega
again.
Minion drop, and does a ton of damage to the Inferno Tower. The Fireball finishes off. Needs to play the Ice Golem, but it's actually already out there, and I think Tornado might be really effective in this scenario. This might be the push.
he's going to log it. He gets it locked on. Yeah, there it is.
Whoa.
Oh no, and the bowler's not hitting it. The bowler is turning onto the Ice Golem, which is giving the Expo even more free time.
Mega Minion is trying to remove, has to spend the Fireball in the end. A lot of damage done to the tower, but still needs to chew through at least one more successful Expo. Ice Golem is going to be the card of choice. Minions is the answer.
There's the Inferno Tower. He doesn't have the elixir for it, so the Inferno Tower is not going to come out.
There's the Tornado on the Archers, but I think just not quite pulling them out of range.
Now, when you are tornadoing, the units can't stop and attack, right?
They can actually attack.
Oh, they
while
can
they're
still
being
attack
away.
still,
Yes.
Oh, darn it.
You can pull them out of attack range, though, and they quit attacking. They turn around and go the other direction. So the goal here is to kill this early, have the Inferno Tower still alive so that you can set it up as soon as possible. I think that worked out pretty well, all else being considered.
Yes,
The question
death,
is, how can you get rid of that
slow.
Inferno Tower?
Mega Minion is trying to creep its way across, but I think a Fireball might do it. Maybe a Tornado to pull those Archers back. We'll see. I don't know if it will move the Archers far enough. The bowler, gets one fadeaway shot.
Fadeaway bowler.
Kobe.
Look at that. Minute and 20 seconds left. Here comes the graveyard now. Finally for Odyssey, getting able to play it. He's kind of a little breath of fresh air.
I mean, that's 9 elixir, but it forces your opponent to set up. Like, they can't. If you see Graveyard come down, you can't be like, I'm just going to set up Expo at the river. Like, you got to do something.
that's
Oh, no, I think
gone.
Expo's too far. Oops,
The double oops for Passam.
Oh no.
Fireball to get him out of jail.
It's just mind games,
It
guys.
might actually turn out to be
Yeah.
a draw.
mind
If Graveyard defense is on point, I actually think that Passam has the cards in hand to draw the game out. If anything, using Tornado to pull units into the other lane if worse comes to worse.
The combination of Fireball on the minions, I think, is going to help a lot because this Graveyard do a couple
Oh,
damage.
no.
Right? They're doing a little
Yep.
bit. All right, and that's it. You know, if this Expo doesn't kill it, the next Fireball is going to win the game.
All right, well, he's got to go right now. And with the full health Inferno Tower, a log coming in as well just
He's
to give it
cycling.
that extra one. Yeah, looks like Passam knows it too. He just needs 4 elixir. There's the 4. There's the Fireball. There is the tower down. And Odyssey going to pick up his first game here in match number 3.
Odyssey.
It's the greatest name.
Yeah.
Such a good name.
And we all get rewarded by getting to see Inferno Dragon now. Oh, I love that card because Odyssey's other deck is Lava Hound, no minor, but Inferno Dragon.
Okay.
A little different.
So this is my legendary that I have, my one legendary I have my name too. I haven't really found a great way to make it work yet. Obviously, I'm only using on defense. I can never really find a way to offensively push with it.
Yeah, well, you still won't be finding a way
What other cards in there that I just don't have? What's a really good card that, like, oh, this is just when you need, when you have Inferno Dragon?
Almost any tank. Like, think about Inferno Dragon is more fragile than a baby dragon, which is already not a very tough card. So you're going to want situations like Giant tanking the tower and the Inferno Dragon behind it. As long as you have splash damage to kill the real small stuff, you got your zaps, logs, arrows, whatever, to kill the really small stuff. Anything bigger than that, like a bowler or a lumberjack or something, the Inferno Dragon will lock onto it and kill it kind of quickly. I mean, it's not to be underrated as a damage source. You just have to make sure that it's not getting attacked by the tower, which will shred it pretty quickly.
Sure. But what's amazing, like those stupid trainers, they let me hit their tower all the time with that Inferno Dragon, and it is great.
And then the real people don't.
You're undefeated against trainers.
Undefeated, right? Well, that's not true either. Odyssey is up 1-0 against Bassam. If he picks this one up, he is moving on. Let's see if Bassam can tie it.
Mega Minion.
No, this is a time to set up an Expo if there was ever a time to set up Expo. Well, it looks like... No, Bassam is still playing the Expo deck. He must have not had it in his opening hand.
Whoa! Interesting use of the tornado. Maybe wanted to get the minions tagged onto the tower?
By interesting, what
To find it. I mean, in one way he did actually... The minions ended up flying ahead of the Lava Hound, but I think they kind of would have done that anyways. I'm not super sure.
Guys, hey, this is a top player. They
know better than we do.
50 steps ahead.
No, I'm totally believing that there are like awesome little use cases for the tornado. I just haven't seen them yet. Like, what I think it's kind of hurting him is that Odyssey's not playing anything like Skeleton Army. Actually, he's not playing anything. He's not playing the Skeleton Army or Goblins or even Guards, anything like that.
Not Minion Horde.
Yeah, Minion Horde's another good. There's Minions,
right,
but that's a 3-for-3 and doesn't even kill the minions.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, just not good cards in this matchup. Maybe there's great ones on the way here.
That Expo actually does a lot of damage, and this is kind of Lava Hound's matchup against Expo, where you are lacking a tank really for ground units, and the Expo can very easily lock onto your tower. That's going to give Bassam actually...
I kind of buy that.
I would rather actually
That's not bad at all.
I would have rather him pull the lava pups closer to the tower away, because those are the ones that are actually going to do damage.
Those are the threatening ones. It's tough because the center of the spell is where they get pulled, so if you center it on the troops, you don't really pull them anywhere. So you kind of have this tension of like, I need the edges of the tornado to actually hit the troops to pull it away, which can be a little tough to place.
Does the speed of the unit within the tornado matter? Like, if you're really fast, can you make it out?
Oh, it does matter.
It does, yes. So for example, a Golem will actually be very effective because it doesn't walk. It doesn't gain distance as fast.
I used to go behind the pink tower, so in the ground unit that can really block it.
Oh, he gets a lock on here.
Oh, and the tombstone just a little too late.
All right, Ice Golem to defend. That is going to probably be a tower down unless something can miraculously happen. Fireball for defense just to ensure that Bassam is going to get that bottom right tower, and look at that. Now, all that Odyssey has is 23 seconds to find a way to take a tower to go into overtime. If not, we are tying it up 1-1.
It looks like he's not playing anything. I think he's just going to wait this one out. Odyssey is a very experienced player, thousands of game under his belt, and I think he knows when the match is over. Great matchup there for Bassam. Expo is one of the best matchups for Lava Hound for the exact reasons that you stated. There's not a lot of ground tank cards that you can even use to block it. Unlike decks like Giant or Golem that have a big tank that's on the ground, the air aspect of Lava Hound means it's not even useful as a, like, oh no, you played Expo, let me put this down.
And also, we talked about just the noodle damage of Lava Hound.
Yeah, even if it gets there.
He gets there and he's like nothing.
Trash can bat.
Yeah, good old trash can bat.
One whole spear goblin worth of damage.
And this is why.
So sad.
This is why. You need Miner. You need Miner. You need Miner.
There we go.
Minion Horde. You need Miner Minion Horde. You just need more flexibility.
Actually, though, Revenge of the Odyssey here. Inferno Dragon Lava Hound deck that's about to come out now that we just saw. It's going to play again. I don't think he even played Inferno Dragon at all in the last game.
I don't think so.
Didn't see it.
This deck has Golem, Valkyrie, and Mega Minion, all of which are pretty good targets for the Inferno Dragon.
Yeah. So, all right. So, just right now, based on the cards, who do you think is going to take it? Cards and play.
Odyssey's pretty good. I don't know. It's tough to say. What do you think, Rainey?
I think that sounds like a deck that gets very light. Does he have lightning in his Lava Hound deck?
It does.
Yeah, I would say Odyssey probably is looking pretty good. Lightning already makes its cost with the Valkyrie and the Mega Minion in there. Having that both assist your Lava Hound and give you a get out of jail free card against Golem pushes that inevitably will be supported by troops just because of how slow the Golem is. It's just a really good setup. And then, of course, the Inferno Dragon will be fantastic.
We think it's Odyssey. Let's see in chat. Do you agree with us, or do you think Passam is going to move on to the semifinals?
Ooh.
Not right now.
Great Lightning took out 6 elixir worth of stuff, so you got to be happy with at least.
Man, that Mega Minion wearing armor is just not great against lightning.
Yeah, electricity.
Tracks it immediately.
Oh, it's going to knock the Tombstone and the Skeletons out, letting the Valkyrie get a free ride to the tower, but it is so slow.
It is slow, but Valkyrie super tanky as well.
Very tanky.
Just a lot of health on that.
Great.
And the splash damage is so useful, especially now. I'm surprised you don't see more of her, because when I played a graveyard deck for a while, the one card that I just could not beat was Valkyrie.
Oh.
You can't lightning her, can't fireball her.
Great with little skeletons.
Interesting.
And yeah, she just stands there and just swings in a circle. And unlike cards like
Sings.
Knight that have to actually,
Sings.
she sings. "Hurrah!"
She's so pumped.
Little known fact about Valkyries, great voice.
Yeah, opera singer. Was an opera singer before this.
There it is.
Decided to
Now,
There's
here's the
our
problem
buddy.
to be afraid of is the skeletons. The skeletons there can actually confuse the Inferno Dragon, and you can waste a lot of time building up on it. Ooh.
Nice fireball going through. Aiming for the shadow. I like that. Making sure that Inferno Dragon is no more.
Still a big connection on that Golem, and the Lava Hound didn't make it at all.
Here it goes. Yeah, so that Megan's not going to make it.
Yeah, again, we talked about just even like a little bit of damage.
I think you need to do like 20% damage or something. It's very little. If you take just a minor sliver off of the Mega Minion, he's not going to make it. Full health gets 2 hits. Something a little bit of health might get 1 hit, but yeah, you're right. If you get 20 to 25% damage on it, it is dead in the water.
Okay, he's good at other things.
The best card in the game.
Great
Yeah,
defense.
absolutely. Yeah,
Such a good card.
Essentially the best troop. Supercell, please nerf.
3 elixir.
All right, see if another lightning comes down. Ooh, 2 tanks, no Mega Minion in sight to deal with it. He's going to have to zap it probably to reset it.
Yep, there it is. And he goes onto the Valkyrie. Bad.
And he's going to make short work of that. Now there's skeletons are the other problem.
Wow, actually does lock onto the Golem, and that Inferno Dragon did
2
actually do
Lava
pretty well.
Hounds.
That's
Good
really
work.
great because this second Lava Hound will be able to move
Oh, it lived.
really close to the
Oh,
tower.
the arch. Oh, it lived again!
Oh no! We're gonna see it! We're gonna see what Oh, there it is. Mega Minion ruining all the fun.
If only, man, I wish Odyssey was on it and just lightning the instant that Mega Minion dropped. Oh,
That could that definitely would have been the game right here. But still, Odyssey looking great right now. 11:53. Now the Lava Hound just popping. Still some defensive units backing it up.
Yeah, good amount of damage. Has lightning in hand, so is actually not too concerned with trying to replicate that push. Can probably find some way to justify lightning out that tower, but we'll still have to play pretty hard to make it work. A second Tombstone and Log is out of the picture right now. No Inferno Dragon to be seen.
And maybe those minions and Mega. Oh no, the perfect for red there. The red Mega Minion locked on the blue one.
Oh, the Lava Hound.
The double Lava Hound is the way to go, and it looks like this single Lava Hound now has a clear shot
no.
towards the
Lava
tower.
Hound.
It's close enough to get some lightnings going.
Yep. Okay, Lava Hound does Wet Noodles worth of damage, but he only needs to get it to 340 or so. And that's maybe 3 or 4 spits left.
That
can
looks
even log
this
it,
is
too.
I mean, D is not taking damage at all. He's gonna lightning it. I love that. He lets Lava Hound get the finishing blow there, and that is gonna be Odyssey, just as you guys predicted. Moving on to the semifinals. Some great to see you here, but not today.
Very interesting decks, very creative deck building. His Golem deck didn't run lightning. Of course, the Tornado deck, Tornado in the Expo deck, pretty good. Unfortunately for Prasam, not going to make it. Still 2 more Coronation days though. Going home with $100.
Yeah, and thank you for debuting Tornado for us. We
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
that.
He'll go down in Clash Royale
Clash history.
Three.
Even though $100, like you said, $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our first replay with some graveyard action.
Graveyard.
I want it so bad.
Graveyard is so good.
Graveyard.
I know. Look at it. Look at that graveyard go. Just no problem. Ice Golem's there. Ice Golem just
Utter
walks off.
destruction.
Loves life.
Graveyard might be one of the most high-risk, high-reward cards in the game because when it's bad, it's real bad.
Yeah.
But when it's good, nothing
Tower's
shreds a tower
gone.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, for the elixir cost and the speed at which you can do it,
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
So in this matchup, yeah, we're seeing this Inferno Dragon live for the future. He locks
Lightning.
on, starts to warm up with the damage, but Mega Minion comes to ruin the party.
That would have been great lightning. That would, I mean, that would have been.
You're right. I mean, I think that tower would have gone down quicker than it did. Good thing for
Now-
Odyssey that he still won because if he
Right.
would have lost and dreamed of an Inferno Dragon saving him,
Yeah.
That'd have been bad.
One thing I want to talk about lightning, because when you play it, let's say you play it and there's nothing to target instantly, but does it still go through those 3 ticks? Like if you play it, nothing, and on that third one, someone does play something, will that third one still go off?
What I do know for sure is that if you play it and a unit walks out of range, it won't hit that unit.
Right.
Correct. Yeah,
So at the time of dropping it is not when it calculates those units being hit.
Huh.
So imagine there's 3 musketeers, and you drop the lightning, and one of the musketeers, after you drop it, walks out of that circle.
Yeah.
It won't actually get hit.
Yeah.
So I know that.
I'm gonna test it during the break. I'm gonna test it out. We'll see if that's the case. So then we can answer for you guys, or if you know in chat right now, let us know, and we'll check that out, and we'll
Chat
give you
always.
Thanks,
we'll give you a shout out for it. But up next, our final round of 8 before the semifinals. It is Fetty Wap versus Woody. We have our 2 returning players coming back. Woody, first coronation from him, right?
Yeah,
Making
made
it
top
in.
8 of the first one. And he's back again, leader of Reddit Alpha. So we have, of course, 7 Reddit Alpha people up on the wall right now, looking to be the 8th
many.
one. And
the chief.
And he's the chief. He's here to show us all how it's done.
he's bringing double expo. Rare that he's going with double expo,
Okay.
but he is known as a siege master. We're going to see how he goes. Fetty Wap, been here multiple times as well, running Giant Bowler Lightning and Golem Graveyard. Although similar to the Golem Graveyard deck we just saw, no lightning, just the fireball, zap, cheap spells. So.
Woody will always be known in my mind as the greatest competitor that Clash Royale has seen in the early days of competitive Clash Royale.
Yeah.
He was just winning everything. He was one of the
first
most
name, really.
consistent. Yeah, he was one of the most consistent players and held by his water for so long. Now finally, in these days, he's playing double expo decks, so he has given up on the mortar.
Is this the first arena?
Yeah, this is training camp.
I was wondering that
Good
too.
news. I actually like that. I'm down for people doing that. Because when you request friendly battles, which is how we do this is in the clan system, you can use whatever arena you want, but people just leave it on the default of Legendary Arena because they're all in Legendary Arena. I'm very glad that Fetty Wap, who I believe did the request, switched it up a little bit. I like Builder's Workshop. That's my favorite.
Where I am. And that's why I'm staying there, because I really like Yousef.
That's it.
Yeah, totally.
Why didn't I think of that? Actually, Builder's Workshop was debuted. It was not one of the original arenas in the game. It was debuted after the game had been out for a while. I never actually got to be in Builder's
Really?
Workshop. Yeah.
Bypassed it completely.
Just be really
Well, come on
jealous
back.
of
Hey,
us.
just
Come on back.
Just go on back down, and you can make your way back up later.
Boom,
922.
boom, boom,
As we've been
boom.
talking,
Yup.
that tower on the side of Woody has gone down extremely low there. Fetty Wap doing a great job.
And what that came down to was a giant Mega Minion lightning push that really did most of the damage. There was an Inferno Tower and a Mega Minion, and when Woody lost his Mega Minion and his Inferno Tower to it, the giant was able to go through pretty much full health and push.
Woo! Man, what a fireball hit.
He's got to use those fireballs because as long as Tombstone's around, it's really hard
Expo.
to get your Expo going.
It's interesting that he chose to fireball the right side tower and has actually chose to install his expo on the right side.
He has Inferno Tower, but I feel like he has to use it on defense. Doesn't have a lot of luxury to play it right at the river like you might want to.
Oh,
we'll
play it
live.
against a giant!
We'll
Play it
live.
against a giant! Oh, that's probably a lost tower. Oh, he's going to use the Ice Spirit to kind of recoup a little bit of that.
But
Giant
still, I
will
mean,
retarget,
that's a
yeah.
lightning and a log or two away. It's pretty close.
I mean, if you're Fetty Wap. If you're Fetty Wap, do you lighting that Inferno Tower in the tower right now? They're so close.
Nah. I mean, you got 40 seconds, right? Might as well wait until the last minute. You might log it, just get the chip damage in there while you can. There's really nothing in Woody's deck that you're dying to log, really.
Patience is a virtue.
Ooh, that was quite the lightning. Now, there's a good lightning
Yow.
because you get the Mega Minion in the right lane and actually get to hit the tower as well.
That was also close because if that would have targeted the King Tower, would that have actually lightning would have hit that?
Yeah.
Ooh,
So he had that. He had the circle lined up in a way
so
where
perfectly.
Ooh, actually use the Ice Golem to pull the bowler into the range of the Inferno Tower, and these are the kinds of mechanical decisions that we are used to seeing Woody play. Just as I say that, mistimes the log just a little bit. Would have really preferred that Tombstone to degenerate just a little bit more.
There's the lightning. Fetty Wap going to be picking up game number 1 in our final match before we go to the semifinals.
And,
Such a
you
close
know,
comeback.
I'm
my
shocked
mind.
that Woody has made it this far. Like, I'm not shocked because he's a great player, but I'm shocked that he's running double expo in a world of, I mean, Fetty Wap isn't running weird decks, right? Like Giant Bowler and Golem
Standard.
are some of the most popular decks out there, and that's some of the hardest matchups for expo decks.
Yeah.
So he's in a situation where if he ever goes up against a player who's just not going to lose to expos,
That's it.
what are you going to do, right?
How could he have better defended that tower? Or was it impossible?
Well, we've seen the Inferno Towers where you can play them up at the river. You play them far and kind of off to the side so much that they're really not in lightning range. But I think he took the lion's share of damage from that one early push.
Yeah.
And at that point, Fetty Wap doesn't really have to attack anymore. Doesn't have to make himself vulnerable. He can just sit back, play very defensive, lightning whenever it comes up, and save his bowler and his giant for the moments where you want to block an expo. This time, though, he's only got one tank. He's only got the golem in the second deck.
Still a great
And an ice golem,
tank.
though, so maybe. Like, he might have enough still.
Yeah. What are the decks right now that we're seeing that is a Expo good against?
Lava Hound, for sure. I mean, I would argue Expo is probably the reason that Lava Hound has struggled to really win many Coronation days. It's a very strong deck on its own, but Expo is just a great matchup against it. I think Expo does pretty well against those minor decks, the minor control, Fireball, Inferno Tower decks that we've seen a lot of, because those decks can't really generate strong offense.
All right, well, here we go. Fetty Wap, one more game away from being our final semifinalist. Let's see if he can do it.
And that's
Can Woody stay in this?
Great opening. The golem does come down. The Tombstone was played in the middle. Woody's Mega Minion killed it, and that's why Woody had to go for the Expo play as soon as possible.
All right, Golem comes in, is really close to the tower. The Inferno Tower actually does get slowed down by the death damage.
Now watch this, though. It's going to lock on. It's going to lock on with the tower.
I guess without seeing.
It's the archers. Just in the nick of time.
So it does do it. So
You know, I was actually rewatching last night's broadcast, and it happened in that tournament.
Oh, gotcha.
It was a critical moment in that tournament. So yeah, if the golem explodes and there's nothing behind it, the Expo will lock onto the tower before the golemites, because the golemites don't quite exist for a half second or so.
you got to be recreated out of the rubble.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Reanimate. And once again, these tombstones are providing a little bit of a stickler here. I think he's just going to go for it. Golem comes out just in time again!
Wow. He has it.
Needs to make sure he eliminates the Ice Golem early. No, and he doesn't actually get a good positioning on the Ice Golem drop. Going to make sure that...
Get out of here.
And the slow effect on the Inferno Tower really hurts, because that's that much less damage that you can build up in a short period of time.
Death damage does eliminate the Expo, and now the Inferno Tower is going down. Only the Golemite left. Should be a pretty easy defense for Woody.
Ironically, I wonder if Mortar would be better against a lot of these decks, because Mortar has a minimum range, so as they get too close, then it just begins to naturally lock onto the next thing behind it. And because it's cheaper overall, you can be faster. Like, you can have your Mortar down 2 elixir before the Expo, and we're seeing how close these golems are to just barely making it out. Ultimately, though, Woody knows this matchup 10x better than I ever will, so I trust that he thinks that Expo is overall a more powerful deck.
Again, the leader of Reddit Alpha right now playing against Fetty Wap from Altar of Elite. A lot of Reddit Alpha members have made it, but right now, Woody's one game away from not being able to join him, at least not this day. 2 more Coronations left now.
Ooh, trying to go for the trade.
Yeah, he might just sacrifice this tower, hoping that maybe he can pull this off. But Ice Golem, one of the most recent additions to the game, has proven so good at stifling these sort of decks. Like, you can just play it right in the middle, and it buys you at least a couple seconds and the ability to refresh your elixir.
Well, there it is. The good game coming out. The Fireball. Woody knows it is done. As the time runs out, that is going to be Fetty Wap 2-0ing Reddit Alpha's leader. Woody moving on to the final semifinalists. Woo! We have them all.
It seems like Woody had to just wait for his opponent to make a mistake, but he wasn't going to make a mistake.
Right.
So that seems pretty risky to pull that kind of deck out when you know
Yeah.
a mistake and that's all you're counting on.
Expo is a very linear deck in that it does one thing. It does it really well. When it's doing its thing, it can be very powerful, but it just kind of does one thing. And if your opponent is ready for it, doesn't let you ever get that opening, it's a really hard deck to win, because how do you adapt? Like, how can you really change the line of play in that deck that doesn't involve just dropping an Expo at the river at some point?
Yeah.
I know Rainey was actually really surprised that it even did that well for that long for the first couple Coronations, and even now it's still really popular, because once you know that you're going up against an Expo deck, you're right. You have to fumble in order to really lose to it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of that final round of 8 match. The Giant, and how beautiful.
Yeah, Giant, Mega Minion, Lightning. Giant Mega Minion has to be a really, really grade A 8 elixir combination. Much like Hoglog is great for 6 elixir, Giant Mega Minion is great for 8. Plus that Lightning on top means that it is a destructive push, and just demonstrating how destructive that can be.
You see right there that rotation of Giant and Bowler meant that there was never an opening, and in this case, even with the pretty quickly played Expos, there was always another golem. Even here, the one on the right, you're going to see the Expo come down. He had the ice golem ready to go. Yoink.
Yep, just like that. I do want to know, because I remember we did have a match a couple coronations back, and I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was someone who was running an Expo deck, but they actually won the game without playing a single Expo.
Correct.
And so there is ways to, to not rely specifically on that card.
I already threw the deck lists away, but one of his deck lists actually did have a rocket in it. The one that he played the same one twice and lost it. His alternate deck list had rocket in it, and I wonder if that might have been the better deck, and you just play like an Inferno Tower rocket deck. Like you almost seed the whole Expo plan altogether. But of course it's hard to say because even if the first 4 Expos failed, if the 5th one succeeds, you win the game, right?
Win. Yeah. Big high risk, also high reward, kind of in that sense, just like Graveyard. All right, our 4 semifinalists are now locked in, so let's go ahead and pull the bracket and take a look at them. Up first, we do have Dark Force versus Yousef. Next, Odyssey and Fetty Wap, all one step closer to $2,000 and the chance to go on to the arena battle.
What are you guys thinking? Call it right now.
Yeah, Odyssey.
All the way.
It's just such a good name, you know?
He's really consistent. I mean, at every big tournament, he's done well. He's made an appearance. At the King's Cup, he was there, did really well. At the Northern Arena Toronto event, he was there, did really well. So I think that he's somebody who has really paid his dues, earned his stripes in these sort of competitive scenes, and would be a great addition to the Wall of 16. But of course, you can't count out Fetty Wap, who's been here more times, I think, than anyone remaining in the
but not Marcel P's out.
Yeah.
I mean, in.
Of the remaining
in, but out, but
in, but out, but in.
Anyway, let us know on Twitter and in chat who you want to take it home today.
Yeah.
Hashtag ClashNA Open. Also, I'm looking forward to those haikus because I know you said them.
That's right. Coming back from the break, we will be reading those haikus. We'll be getting into the semifinals. We'll find out what Rainey's prediction is or who's going to take it all. He is spot on. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
These are the rules of the duel. All duels must have appropriately epic music.
Clash Royale! Bigger fights with everyone! Clash Royale! It's got lightning and skeletons! Duel players in real time! Destroy towers in real time!
While your troops take a stand, now you've got the upper hand. Destroy the king and win the crown and Clash Royale!
That was a rule of the duel, a most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. Anything goes in the arena, and anything goes inside the Goblin Hut. Anything. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The grass in the arena must be properly cut. It's a full-time job. That was the rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale. These are the rules of the duel. The winner takes the loser's trophies. And their dignity. That was a rule of the duel. A most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale.
Welcome back to the Clash Royale North American Open, officially presented by NGE and Supercell got our backs too. We got some awesome haikus from you guys, some in different languages.
Oh, yes.
I am so excited about these.
We asked, you answered.
You answered. I was kind of thinking you wouldn't, but you did it. So here is Christian with our haiku of the night.
All right, before we get to the one, I think it's in Danish. We have one from Best One Ever 2. The barb hut is great. The tornado is awesome. Golem is countered. Well, Best One Ever 2, some people would disagree with you. Let's go back to the couch and talk about that, and also read one, I think, in Danish.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not gonna do this, but you are.
Oh, man. So here's, okay.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that are going to be okay about this. A, if it's a bunch of bad words, I will pronounce it so poorly that it won't even be bad words.
Right.
Supposedly it's about the night, and to show how little I know about Danish culture, I'm going to do it in the Swedish chef voice, because that's about the closest thing I have. Sorry.
Oh my
there
goodness.
we go. Riden urt gud. Men jo uk så flot urt fred. Han mak ikke du.
Yep.
Thank you.
You translated it, and it is, the night is good, but also nice and naughty. He must not die. I like that.
Thank you,
Amazing.
Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob. That was good.
Thank you
so
guys for
much.
all of those
We
haikus.
told you to read them all.
Thank you for all the haikus that you guys submit. Even after the show, we go back and read them. We enjoy them
They're
all.
so great.
Thank you.
I want to hear Rum.
Yeah, well, what we'll do is hopefully by the next
go watch
broadcast
it after.
you'll be fluent, and
Yeah.
then we can just talk the whole
The
night
only
Danish.
reason that's okay is because Supercell is in Finland, Swedish Chef is Swedish, and both of those countries aren't big fans of the Danes, so it's okay.
It's
only
perfect.
only
Totally
one country's like, hey.
Hey, wait a second. We're a fan now. All right, let's pull up the bracket now as we are into the semifinals. If you guys are just now tuning in, we have four
Too much.
champions left. Dark Force, Yousef, Odyssey, and Fetty Wap all
hey.
playing for $2,000 and that chance to move on to the arena duels, where the crown duels winner $15,000 out of a $100,000 prize pool and the chance to go to Helsinki, where Supercell HQ is located. All right, Rainey, we heard what Rumham thought. Rumham thinks Odyssey is making it all the way. What is your prediction?
I think it's going to be Yousef.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Yousef because I think Barb Hut 3 Musketeer, if I was a betting man, I would say Barb Hut 3 Musketeer is probably the most stable deck that I see so far. I think that it provides you good options, good flexibility. Depending on what deck you're up against, you have two powerhouse cards that can really help you. If it's Golem, you have Barbarian Hut. If it's any kind of air deck, you have 3 Musketeers. And on top of that, if they have a deck that doesn't have lightning, all of a sudden your 3 Musketeers becomes incredibly high value. It's just so flexible. I really like it as a deck. And I think it's really the key to beating out these Coronation days.
You think about this. The Barb Hut deck, since it debuted 2 Coronation days ago, has only lost in the finals, and yesterday it only lost to the other Barbarian
Interesting.
Hut player,
Interesting.
right? So this deck might be super strong right now.
And look at the average elixir cost we got there.
Yeah, a very high average elixir cost.
4.3.
But
Oh
it's
my
like such a
God.
slow meta. Everyone is
Yes.
playing very slow, heavy cards. It's not very fast right now. So you can kind of get away with playing a lot of heavy hitter sort of cards. On Dark Force's side, though, I think he's got... Unfortunately, the Lava Hound is as a weak matchup against 3 Musketeers. You're afraid of that, especially because he doesn't have lightning in the deck to help counter it. But that Miner deck could be very strong against the Barbarian Hut deck, because you have the Miner and other spells to kind of weaken it. Giant Bowler's not a terrible matchup for you either. So if he can pull out a win with the Lava Hound deck against either, you might have a chance to move on to the finals.
Okay, so which one, if you are Yousef, are you bringing first? What's the one you want to either get out of the way, or you're the most confident to take a win off?
I would think that... I would say do your Giant Bowler Graveyard first, because you need to really understand lines of play to make sure your graveyard is not as risky as it could be. So you need more time to make sure you identify what the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent's decks are, whereas I think you are safe enough and slow-paced enough with your Barbarian Hut 3 Musketeer deck that you can often play very safely if you open with it. So, that being said, maybe it's actually better to play the opposite way around. Take the time when you play Barbarian Hut and 3 Musketeer to just identify your opponent's playstyle, and use that Giant Bowler deck once you know better about how your opponent likes to play out the game.
Oh no, it's about to explode before it reaches the Miner, shows up just in time!
Wow, great timing there. Fireball coming up, but one Lava Pup survives.
That surviving
One
archer.
Lava Hut pup.
One Lava Pup.
That would be great.
all the
A hut full
words.
of lava pups.
What is that phrase right
Oh,
now?
great timing on that.
The miner shows up precisely when it's required.
Yep.
What it means
Is that the phrase?
Yep. A wizard arrives precisely when it means to.
The miner.
Wizards and
arrives.
miners, I suppose. Yeah.
The miner gets there right when required. I love that saying.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
All right, Barbarian Hut is out.
Now this would be interesting because the Barbarian Hut is too far towards the center. It's not going to pull the Lava
The
Hound
right side
anywhere,
Lava
but the barbs are actually kind of just going to walk into these like Mega Minions and Minion support, which is exactly what you usually want out of a Lava Hound deck, is an opportunity for your support cards to really kill a lot of stuff on the way to backing up the troop.
There's no miner left to tank for the lava pups, but there's only the Mega Minion really to hold off these pups as well.
Ooh, look at the one on the side's actually hitting the barb hut.
Yeah, a lot of extra bodies out there to mitigate damage from the lava pups.
This push though from Yousef.
Good use of Hog Log. Going to give the Hog Rider a ton of swings on the tower, and this is a very back and forth match. And this is what we're talking about. Barbarian Hut is just such a good card to play because it seems like it almost reminds me of the old school Elixir Collector in many ways. You play it as a defensive structure, and it's actually really good as a defensive structure.
Yeah. That's actually something that we just saw right there. Like the final two barbs that came out ended up forcing a defensive miner out of Dark Force, which is not what you want to do. You do not want to be spending your elixir on random spawns like that, but otherwise he was going to take a couple hundred damage. Ooh, again. Let's see if another miner, he's probably got the elixir for it real soon now. Oh no!
Tears is out. Oh, there it is! The Zap Fireball, even on the Barbarian Hut.
Oh,
Wow,
and
and that miner is going ham.
Oh my god, it's not magic. It's
That
not
might have been it.
That might still be it because it's going to get at least one or two shots, and of course
Yes.
he only needs one more fireball to win this game. Dark Force, who wasn't even supposed to be here
Yeah.
today,
Wow.
advances through a DQ. Our first DQ is actually looks like he's going to take it home, or at least game one of this match.
Wow, there it is. Fireball coming out. Dark Force getting graced into the semifinals, is now picking up his first game. Now one game away from moving on to the finals.
So
Gotta earn it.
impressive.
Woo!
That thing.
Yeah, he did that. He
did that thing.
He really did that thing. Nicely done. All right, so one thing that was kind of really impressive there, again, obviously that zap, that fireball onto the Barbarian had the absolute value. It just goes to show when you can get a huge elixir's worth of value from one of yours, it can switch the game just like that.
Yep. Especially because your opponent has gone all in on this. All right, I'm going to save up my entire elixir bar. I'm going to spend the whole thing on Three
Yes.
Musketeers. And they only got a couple shots off before that combo came in. It wasn't like, oh yeah, they shot like 3 or 4 times each and then they got removed. They were just like maybe one round of shots each. And that means he didn't even really get any elixir for the 9 that he spent.
And just like you were saying, the Zap held the Three Musketeers in place. One of them was leaving. One Three Musketeers like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to go this way. Zap kept it in place. Fireball came in. Done.
The coward was brought to justice.
Yeah, you can't abandon your sisters.
Yeah.
One of the things that you have to think about is when you play Three Musketeers, Yousef played it in the center position to try to make sure that the Three Musketeers instantly gained value. But the problem is, I think that it might have been better suited played behind the King Tower so that you disincentivize the immediate fireball. You guarantee that the Musketeers survive. They wouldn't have been in such a great position, but you would have guaranteed that you would have gotten value off of them rather than losing 9 elixir immediately. So.
And it's tough though because you can't hide from them. So if remember, we've seen a lot of these lightning decks. People are playing the Three Musketeers in the little cubby area between the King and Crown Tower because that protects them from lightning. You can't actually put the template down and have them be the highest health things around. But you cannot do that against Fireball and Zap. They can always get you.
Yeah. I think for Yousef, he needs to get started on the Three Musketeers early and often because every time you play Three Musketeers, you're basically gaining 3 elixir for free. Because
Very good point.
even if they have an elixir advantageous removal, the fact that they still have to deal with one of the Musketeers is very troublesome.
Might be living that dream right now. Oh, ops for the Mega Minion. But I agree with you, like, especially because Dark Force's deck does not have lightning, I don't believe. It is a fireball deck. I actually tore the deck up earlier because I thought he lost. And he's back.
He's back from the dead.
Yeah, no, so it's right. It's a minor fireball deck. Or, I guess we can't see it yet. He hasn't played his spells yet. But I believe it's just a fireball deck, which means that if you can split those Musketeers, you can usually get some decent value out of them. Even if you fireball and zap 2 of them and the tower, that's 6 elixir for 6 elixir.
Wow. Oh my
Both
god.
fire spirits blowing
That
up.
was a series of unfortunate events for Yousef. The Mega Minion won out the duel, eliminated the Barbarians, tanked for the Fire Spirits, which got the Barbarian HUD dead, and then also hit the tower with the additional 2 Fire Spirits. That was a value furnace.
Walked right into that log.
Good placement though, because the log is not hitting the tower as well. Like that little bit of chip damage isn't happening, which is not bad.
A fibrous diet for the princess. Unfortunately, not very good for her health.
Spikes to the
But
face.
good for your health. They can't take away
Everybody
from
needs
this
to get a
broadcast.
log.
That is
Get
a lot of
your
elixir
fiber.
into this push.
Ooh.
Oh
I was
my
wondering, it's like if there's a
God.
fireball, that was the time to play it right there. Everything was all bunched up.
Good fireball and maybe 2 archers to make it? No. Wow. Well, so much elixir invested in that
There it
push.
is.
Minor Inferno Tower is a iron wall of defense.
Yep. It's a deck that effectively has 7 defensive cards and then a minor, right?
Yes.
Or one spell, like usually one spell that can get some chip damage and then the minor, and that's really about it.
Chris is just getting such good value here, hitting not only the Barbarians both, Mega Minion as well.
Yeah, I really like the use of Furnace right
Double
here.
Furnace.
Now you can get fireballed pretty hard though. I mean, if you ever, I mean, that's the thing to fireball, the half health furnace and the full health one. You're going to kill the half health one and do a pretty good work to the others. It's crazy that
Princess.
he didn't play fireball the entire game because he was so afraid of what could occur. If like the 3 Musketeers could have come out and done a lot of damage.
Well, right now
Hard
we're
Rider.
going into sudden death. The next round is gonna win. Double elixir for the next 3 minutes.
So
This might be another draw.
Hanson. Furnace action.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this actually. This deck, this Barbarian Hut deck, is seems like
Oh, missing it.
the
A little
most
too quick.
prone to drawing deck that we've seen so far. I mean,
yeah, that's
it goes
true.
very deep into overtime, and it's not really great at putting together damage. It needs to get a lot of
Yeah.
those minor and chip attacks and all that.
Wait.
All it really takes, as we've seen from the last Coronation Day, is one big connection from Yousef can turn this game around.
Absolutely.
But the question is, how does he construct that push? I think at this point there's so much elixir on the field, so much elixir generation, and Furnace is installed right now that it's going to be hard just to get past all the structures that Dark Force has in play.
Oh no.
Bullseye.
I wonder if he can get 3 furnaces out. I mean, maybe not, because he's not exactly cycling a pure 4 cards each time.
That
It's
would
like
be
a
insane.
But I mean, that might be the game plan here, right? What else can you do?
All right, well, right now Dark Force kind of giving a well played. I don't know if that was just for a specific play. or-
Run,
I think it was
Musketeers,
for
run!
blocking the minor.
Gotcha.
Run! Oh no! Actually, the Ice Golem is still taking for the Musketeer on the right, so it's still going to gain value. Hog Rider runs in front. Oh, gets splash damage by the Fire Spirits. But it's all about trying to find value for your 3 Musketeers. The fact that Princess exists in this deck means that Fireball Princess is actually a good removal option for the 3 Musketeers.
Right. And the archers are there to block the minor. I mean, they're preventing a little bit of damage each time. That's really going to add up. I mean, at some point, I don't know if he's going to be able to have done 1,000 damage in the last minute of the game, and you can chalk that up to all the ice golems, archers that have always been played to meet the minor when he pops up.
All right, again, Yousef representing Aviation, Dark Force, Time on Glory, 1 Ray.
Well, I guess we got another minute. We'll see what happens. If it goes to draw, we should revise. We should talk about the draw rules.
That miner is actually getting a lot of swings out. 1 or 2 of those miners more, and I think that
Fireball cycle.
Dark Force might have a win.
Oh, fire that Barbarian,
Cycle it.
right? With the tower?
It's not going to
Fireball.
remove the Barbarian Hut, and I think that actually limits the options that the miner can go.
It's crazy that neither deck has minor, or neither deck has lightning right now.
Oh, don't get put
Yeah,
into
that's
Fireball range.
tough.
2 more fireballs. I don't think he can do it in 30 seconds.
Can you do it? Can you cycle? All right, that's what Dark
Prove
Force
us
has
wrong.
to do.
But he needs to Fireball the 3 Musketeers.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's a bad one, too.
Oh, he missed a couple of them.
Wow,
Wow.
Just look at
It doesn't matter. Like, can
So
you still
many
get by any of this?
Oh, maybe you can.
Oh.
There's a lot of minions right now.
There's
on the
only a
side for
princess.
Yousef.
The
Wait,
Barbarian
what?
Oh,
is
it's going! We got a fireball! 427!
Oh,
That's true! And that is 7 seconds left in overtime, and Yousef, that is all that he needs, tying it up 1-1 here in the semifinals. Woo! Clash Royale! Clash Royale!
What do I know? I was like, all right, let's go to a draw. No, not going to it. But you're right. Rainey called it, I think,
What?
2-3
You
minutes
did
ago,
call it.
that he only needs one good opening to put it together. How do you even...
That
How do
fireball.
you get through?
That fireball missed.
But
It's
even
the
on top
threat.
of that, there were 2 furnaces, 2 Inferno towers. Like, there was...
And he broke past
The
it.
Yeah.
Sim City was not constructed well enough. The log, the log came through.
Love that game.
And we
Not
saw,
responsible.
we actually had an in-depth look at a replay of I forgot. It was a lumberjack. A lumberjack actually got through. Now, what happened was the Hog Rider normally, if it went to one building, would go to the next building, would go to the next one, and that's kind of the life of the Hog Rider. It would die living that life. But what happened? What happened was
R.I.P..
a log came through, or it was a fireball. I don't remember. A spell came through and eliminated the first building in the line of buildings. That means that the Hog Rider would have never gone to that first location,
They never could
and
start
was
going.
actually too far away to the second building.
Crazy.
And just went straight for the tower. And then it was panic time, and Dark Force had to just start dropping stuff. And then the one musketeer remaining of the three musketeers,
that
the one
mi-
musketeer, I'm
My
gonna get
mind is
revenge for
blown.
my friends.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, why don't a lot of people play Furnace? But now I'm just like, bah.
Yeah. How many furnaces can I put in my deck?
All right, well, here we go, guys. This is the critical game 3 between Dark Force and Yousef. The next victory will have our first finalist of Coronation 14.
Woohoo.
13.
I can't believe we've done
Numbers.
28 plus hours of coverage so far.
14. I was
That's
right.
a lot.
14.
A lot. Go from Super Magical Cup once a week to 4 times a week. Of
Yeah.
the best Clash Royale players in the world.
Ooh, let's see how well this graveyard does here. Oh, Skeleton Army is a great answer to block it. I don't think the furnace would have been too great because each Fire Spirit would have jumped on the nearest skeleton.
Just one.
Yeah, like something like Tombstone or even Goblin Hut might be better, better against fighting Graveyard because the troops survive.
That is a tower that is at immaculate health. 2534. Max health.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that Tombstone cannot. The downside of Furnace is that they're never going to get through a Tombstone. Those skeletons pop out faster than the Fire Spirits do. And the Fire Spirits never get close enough to get splash damage onto the Tombstone. So for all 40 seconds, the Tombstone's alive.
Wow. You should just fireball that tower by itself?
No, there's a princess.
Oh,
There was
gotcha.
a princess, yep.
Whoa, whoa.
Princess.
And you might see him start to work down the other lane. I could see a giant being played behind the King Tower, something like that, in the left lane now, because he's already got a little bit of damage on there. And also, like, the Furnace is going the other direction.
Yeah.
There it is. There we go. The
Does
skeleton
he have a
armor
spell
to
to
defend.
remove?
Princess,
Oh,
why
there's
not?
a zap. And Princess is actually a terrible card to stop Graveyard.
Yeah, really slow. 2.5 second attack speed.
Good thing the tower worked on it.
It also is kind of sad because if she targets one and it dies, does she have to then target?
Yeah, but I don't think she has to re-pull her bow, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Like there are situations where she'll do that, where she continually like retargets and retargets and retargets, but I don't believe it's against Graveyard. I think it's only if the thing is walking out of her range.
Gotcha. All right, double elixir.
Ooh, and now, great Fire Spirit. Will the Princess survive? She does!
Oh!
The
No
skeleton
way!
booped her back a little bit.
Oh no! Oh, if those Fire Spirits were just a little quicker, they would have protected her
That
again.
would have been
She had
great.
such a great run.
Yeah, that princess was one of the longest living princesses.
Snap going through. Dark Force ahead right now in tower damage against Yousef. 1585 there. See if he can continue it. Far back placing 9.
Another Fireball comes for this Princess here on the left. You've
It's
seen that play already.
interesting that in this giant deck, Yousef doesn't run the Ice Golem, and that might be just because of double deck rules, but I think the Ice Golem might be key because that's going to allow him to go down another lane. In this case, he has to go down the lane that the Giant is going down and play the Graveyard similarly, but there's so many Furnaces back there now that a lot of the skeletons will actually not even hit the tower.
That's why I was kind of surprised he didn't switch towards the other lane, because I mean, look, the left tower has the same health as the right tower. You know, it's
Right,
like there's
the
not
two
some
fireballs, yeah.
Oh my god! How many Fire Spirits can you have at one time? That's a lot of
And they're still
damage just waiting to happen.
Go, go, go.
Whoa.
Oh, it hit the tower! Fire Spirits do so much damage. Every single Fire Spirit that jumps on your tower is a ton of health loss.
And we're seeing why Minor Furnace used to be such a popular deck is because if you cannot put pressure on the deck, if you cannot do significant damage or kill those Furnaces, they just build up and eventually you have a whole lane that's just a nightmare.
Yeah. Anything you put down, gone instantly.
Look at all these Fire Spirits, 6 of them rolling across.
Oh
my God, they're-
What are you get? Oh,
And now there's no zap. Or actually, no, there could be a zap there. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the lovely combination of Furnace and Inferno Tower. If it's small, Furnace Tower blows it up. If
Oh.
it's big, Inferno Tower burns it down, right? There's really no way to attack this reasonably because everything is handled just between those two buildings.
Had to spend Zap on the Inferno, did not have Zap for Skeleton Army. Defense for this deck is incredibly well set up. Ooh, Skeleton Army on the Miner.
There
Zapped
it is.
away.
Whoa.
That's a lot of damage there. He does have Fireball in his hand. 2 more Fireballs will do it?
No, 2 will fall just short, 229.
All right.
But 2 Fireballs and a Zap will do it.
Or Fire Spirit.
Or yes, of course. Any of these Fire Spirits decide to
Go,
get a
go,
little up
go.
close and personal.
He's going for a Graveyard drop.
Uh-oh. But don't get too crazy here, because this could... Oh, never mind. Doesn't have the Zap for it.
Fireball.
I'm doing a job.
So Princess also up and
Fireball.
firing. She's going to go in. Giant's not getting close. Miner pops up.
There it
the
is.
Zap's got to be in hand. Yeah, right. The Fireball now is definitely in hand. Yousef's just going to let it happen. Dark Force is going to pick up 2 victories against the one of Yousef. Moving on to be our first finalist. He
Wow.
was knocked out in the beginning. He has come back from the dead.
Giant Graveyard. I think the fact that it wasn't a Golem meant that it's actually very tough to run a Graveyard deck because Giant is not nearly as tanky as the Golem is.
Correct.
And so he really can only play the Graveyard when there is a card tanking for it, because otherwise, basically any card dropped with a tower, combined with a tower, can handle Graveyard pretty well. Additionally, the fact that you have Furnaces everywhere means that the Fire Spirits, where they're not super effective, plus another unit, plus a tower, also handle the Graveyard very well. You need a tank. And he could only play the Graveyard when there was Giant on the field,
Right.
which telegraphed it a lot.
Yeah.
If you have something like an Ice Golem, that's only a 2 elixir drop. That allows you to play very quick Graveyards because you can put a tank in the field very quick.
Yeah, I think an underrated aspect of that too is the Furnaces were drawing your Zaps. Like, you need to zap some of those Fire Spirits, especially when they get built up. You need to zap the Inferno Tower. Well, then when you cast Graveyard and he plays Skeleton Army to meet the Graveyard, what do you have in hand to deal with that? You've already zapped the Inferno Tower. You've already zapped the Fire Spirits. And that was something that I think really caught Yousef and wasn't able to pull off a single effective Graveyard.
It's supposed to be here.
Dark Force moving on. Let's go and pull up a replay of that semifinals match. Take a look what we got going on.
All right, taking an in-depth look at game 1 of their series, a big opening for Dark Force here. We're gonna see, let's hold the replay here at this moment. We've got 3 Musketeers on the field for Yousef for defense alongside the Barbarian Hut. Juicy fireball target that Dark Force is going to take advantage of. Notice now that a Miner was actually played for Dark Force to help get rid of the archers, and that Miner is going to convert into something very big as well. All right, now watch the replay play out a little bit. The Fireball is about to come out in combination with Zap. That Musketeer can't quite get away. Fireball hits all 3, and as we can see, the Miner is still going to town on these archers. When that Lava Hound pops, now the Miner is the one tanking for the Lava Pups, and then the Miner converts, hitting the archers again. That's going to be so key for Dark Force, doing a ton of damage, because at this point, there's 5 Lava Pups, there's a Mega Minion, there's archers, there's 1 that survived that Fireball. More than enough damage to take away that tower's health, and a beautiful play by Dark Force using Fireball Zap to remove the 3 Musketeers and the Barbarian Hut. Let's go back to the start of the replay and watch that play out in real time. I mean, I can't say enough how big that 6 elixir spell combination really came in for Dark Force, and then the Miner just not tagging onto the tower but tagging onto the units really allowed Dark Force to get far ahead in the game, do enough damage to secure the victory for himself.
Bananas.
Yeah, that's it. That's the word.
Bananas.
I was trying to find it. You found it. Bananas is exactly it. Congratulations, Dark Force. You are moving on to the finals. The question is, who is going to join him or her or it? Again, the Dark Force. This is something we
It's ethereal.
You called Odyssey.
I did call Odyssey, yeah. Well, at the time, I also thought that Dark Force was still out in round of 8. What are you going to say? But no, Dark Force has been really consistent here, and, he's in the finals. Got to close it out against one more match, and the person he's going up against is either Odyssey or Fetty Wap.
2 very strong players. Not going to be an easy finals to play. But then again, I was the one who predicted Yousef to go on, and he's out. So I'm still living the curse. It's tough.
Yeah, it's
Right.
okay.
Curse/dream, it's all perspective. All right, Odyssey, Fetty Wap, the decks that they are bringing, kind of the styles of these players. Is there a similar style? Can you see like one player like, oh, he really likes really aggressive decks, or very tanky decks, or is it all meta, or is it Siege?
Well, Fetty Wap definitely is I think of all 8 players at the start of the day, had the most clear game plan. Giant Bowler, Golem Graveyard. both of these situations are decks that are just very strong beatdown decks. They are going to play their tanks, they're going to come down the lane, they're going to push your towers over, and all of the cards in the deck are meant to support the tank and clear out any sort of defensive troops. On the other hand, Odyssey's playing sort of a weird combination of decks. Yeah, the Lava Hound is an archetype that we see, but not that often do we see it with Inferno Dragon, right? Odyssey, his other deck, is a bowler graveyard, kind of a very defensive control deck that we haven't seen a ton of.
No giants.
Yeah, with no real tank for the graveyard, aside than the bowler and I guess the Ice Golem.
All right, so, and all the expos, they've all fallen short. We have no expos that are moving on. So it was starting to come back, all right? Last broadcast, we're like, oh, maybe we're seeing that full circle of the meta.
That
And
down.
now, not today.
Yeah. You actually should really like Odyssey. Odyssey is one of the most dedicated spawner deck players in the game. Like on the ladder at 5,000 trophies, he's running like Goblin Hut, Barbarian Hut, like spawners,
I
right?
think you gotta root
got-
for him
you
because
got
he
my heart.
also has an Inferno Dragon. So
Yeah, this is Odyssey, my man.
he's your player.
It's actually my alternate identity, right?
Christian's actually playing great now.
Yeah, excuse me.
And we're in game.
All right, we're in game. Let's go ahead and go. All right, Odyssey versus Fetty Wap, our final semifinals match. One of these two players will be moving on to face off against Dark Force. Let us know who you think is going to be Clout, Stars, and Altar of Elites.
I'm not super sure if Clout or Altar of Elites has won one yet. I'm trying to look at the list. I believe that they've gotten very close. These are two of the much more accomplished and powerful clans in the game, but I don't know if they've actually pulled a Coronation Day home yet.
I feel like Altar of Elites has, but if not, they've definitely made it to the
So
final.
close.
Well,
Yeah.
Ash is Altar of Elites, and he's
Okay.
made
Oh,
at least
that's
two
fair.
final
That's probably
plans.
where I-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely why you're like,
That's why
the
we
name
keep
seems so
seeing it.
familiar.
Bowler versus Bowler, Mega Minion versus Mega Minion. Lightning was not one of those cards, and Fetty
Graveyard
Wap
comes
is
out.
going to come out ahead.
Or no, Fetty Wap doesn't have Graveyard. He has the Giant Bowler deck.
What did he say?
Roar.
He changes, right?
He's got a couple different voice
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do the hui anymore.
Yeah, why did
They just
feel
totally
they
took it out.
Just
I don't
took it
know.
out and
Supercell,
replaced it with
please.
4 other things.
Maybe they heard you do it and they were like, Rumham
They're like,
doesn't
Never again.
Whoa, we gotta get this out. What are we doing?
Maybe there's another card where it would fit better. A new upcoming card
Maybe,
that goes,
maybe that was Tornado's initial one.
Elite Barbarians are coming out in a couple days. Maybe that could be the. That's it.
They just walk out. Hoo-wee. Sounds good to me.
My God,
Love
what
it.
goes on in our heads?
Love it.
I have no idea.
Hit 24 now left in the game. A little bit of damage done on Odyssey, but not too much overall. And there's the graveyard.
Archer's in position,
Fireball.
plus the Mega Minion will help too, and there's nothing tanking the tower, and so this graveyard is going to get shut down.
Why don't we see more people fireball those archers? Because we saw how effective it is once they remove them. That's the only defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
9
yeah.
elixir. That's the reason.
Was that the first graveyard we've seen? I think it was.
Yes.
So we might have used that as an information gathering thing.
Okay.
Like read it a little bit, kind of get some understanding. The next time you might see him save up a little more elixir and pull it off. But not if you're getting your tower pushed down.
Ow.
Log does not kill those archers, and we've seen it a lot of times here where you log the archers and they just go right back to firing. Not worried about it.
One big punch from the Giant, and Fetty Wap is slowly but surely coming ahead in this game, but we're just heading into double elixir time, and anything can happen. Odyssey can put together a big push. I think one thing that's really hurting Odyssey is because his Inferno Tower keeps getting lightninged out, he's not actually had a good defensive play so far.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can change that here.
Ooh, Ice Golem eats one of the shots.
Oh, unfortunate.
Well, depends on who you're asking, I guess. That Mega Minion has been thrashing bowlers all day for both sides. I mean, those bowlers come across the river and outside the range of the enemy towers, the Mega Minions just run house.
Earning a fireball each time, and Odyssey just can't put together a good counter push after he defends, and it's really coming back to hurt him. He's not been able to really put together anything in terms of offense, and if you can't do damage to the tower, you can't win the game.
Why has Odyssey chosen to fireball those tombstones every single time immediately?
That I just think it's good for 1 elixir. You get 240 damage, 230 damage. That's good.
And it doesn't pull the. There's the fire.
There it is!
Like we talked about. It doesn't pull the Giant towards the middle, which is one of the things you're afraid. You can't really put together a bowler push if the bowler or the Mega Minion or the Ice Golem, all of that gets pulled towards the center.
One more
Oh
run.
no, the bowler's alive!
Oh, he turned it to the side.
Big reason why that happened was because Fetty Wap actually chose to lightning the archers and the tower rather than the Inferno Tower, and that's exactly what we were talking about. One good defensive play can buy Odyssey into this game, and he did so much damage with the super
Fireball's
graveyard
up.
play. And
Oh, misses!
Oh,
He should have gone for the archers, and I feel like that was a mistake. He might have been able to close it out if he had fireballed the archers. He needs to put together one more solid defensive play here.
Oh, that Mega Minion was too far up. I mean,
Where's the
great
lightning
placement by
coming?
Odyssey on the archers. Rather, maybe I don't think that was a bad play by Fetty Wap as much as a great play by Odyssey. Was to predict that Mega Minion from where it was placed was going to be riding the wall there. Places the archers inside instead of outside, or outside instead of inside, and was able to turn that around.
There we go. Here comes a fireball. Just
Odyssey.
one more cycle.
Going for the good game going for Fetty Wap. He has 1:30. Well, I guess not because he only has one more cycle to put together some sort of offensive push. Looks like he's maybe just giving it up. The well played coming out on both sides. And it looks like Odyssey is going to secure the first victory here in the semifinals best of 3. That beautiful fireball.
Key decision-making error. Fetty Wap went for the lightning aggressively on the tower and the archers rather than the Inferno Tower. Had his giant removed like that. The Inferno Tower locked onto the bowler and removed that as well, putting Odyssey very far ahead in terms of elixir. And we saw the result of that. Was able to play the 5+4 graveyard and fireball combo, remove the archers, and just that small play.
Yeah.
And graveyard just
Cause and effect.
value.
Yep.
What do the next deck matchups look like?
Well, we know that Odyssey's got to switch because, of course, you have to win with both decks in our double deck format. Lava Hound is up next with the Inferno Dragon. Fetty Wap, kind of in a weird position. I don't know which deck he wants to play here. Catch for Fetty Wap is that his Golem Graveyard deck only has archers and fireball and zap that attack the air. Doesn't have like a lot of air troops. Like doesn't have Baby Dragon, for example, because he's running the graveyard instead.
Have we seen Baby Dragon at all tonight?
Baby Dragon, no, out of favor. I think right now.
He's doing so well.
I'm happy it's the Inferno Dragon.
Yeah. Well, both decks have Mega Minions, so I guess you can rely on your Mega Minion, but it just seems that, the Giant Bowler and the Golem deck, very ground-based, very ground-oriented, and could be vulnerable to the air-based attacks of Odyssey's Lava Hound deck, but that's why we play the games.
Yep. That's exactly so we can figure it out with him.
Yeah.
All right, Odyssey up 1-0 against Fetty Wap. If he can pick this one up, he is moving on to the finals. See what Fetty Wap can do to make sure that doesn't happen.
Ooh, first drop Lava Hound. I'm really interested to see that. I've gone back and forth on this so many times. I am always very worried when people drop things like Golem or Lava Hound as their first drop in a game. I've seen it go so terribly, but then again, I've also seen it just straight take out a tower at one go.
Every time I do it, it ends badly.
It ends poorly. Yeah, that's about my story as well.
He went for the Lightning, and actually Odyssey's now pretty far ahead in Elixir, about 4 Elixir ahead. I was wondering about that because he Lightninged the Lava Hound and the Mega Minion, Fetty Wap did, and that's not a huge Elixir advantage play, but I guess it's better than letting that blue Mega Minion just shred your Mega Minion and the archers and all the other stuff.
Ice Golem in the back, storing for another day. And the Lava Hound will come to assist, and this is starting to look like a better push. You have the Tombstone installed, you have the Ice Golem in front, the Lava Hound behind, and you have Elixir in the bank to drop more reactionary cards based on what happens here.
I mean, if you consider that he was 4 Elixir ahead, he basically got the Princess, or the Tombstone for free. Right, or the Mega Minion for free. Now they're even in Elixir with all this stuff on the board that kind of favors Odyssey right now.
Lava Pup split. Still no excuse to play something like the Inferno Dragon, and I bet you're missing Miner right now, because a Miner in that push would have really done a lot of damage to that tower. We'll see how Odyssey will play out the situation. Obviously, getting it this far with this deck is not easy, so he has winning conditions and winning plans.
From him, what was the oops there from Fetty Wap?
He both logged and arrows at the same time, and the arrows would have killed it all. He logged to kill the Tombstone, and then threw arrows to kill the minions, but if you looked, the arrows landed just as the Tombstone popped, and he might have been better off just throwing the arrows, letting the Giant punch the Tombstone open, and then saving that 2 Elixir and having the log. As you see, Fetty Wap's actually ahead in Elixir, so he could have been even further ahead in Elixir without that.
Yo, Inferno Dragon down. First time of the night.
But Inferno Dragon doesn't get removed
No,
by
not
lightning.
Not true.
Not true at all.
Not true at all.
Save the Inferno Dragon!
It actually
Oh my
survived.
god!
It survives with 17 health.
That's right.
The
Super low.
Inferno Dragon just narrowly escaped doom. The Mega Minion was
It's
so
still going.
close.
We've
If it
seen
locks onto his giant,
We've seen
uh-oh.
another one. Look at all these dragons in
not
the air.
skeleton. Nice use of the log.
Double
Will eliminate a
Inferno
lot of the
Dragon.
skeletons. Inferno Dragon locked onto the giant. We'll be able to melt that down.
4
That
legendaries.
is a very healthy Lava Hound on your tower, and you are very scared of that. The Bowler also will get removed. Just such efficient trading.
Oh, he's still
Inferno
alive.
Dragon lives.
Oh, he's gonna
Here
go.
it comes.
Wow.
Oh, that is it. locked on Inferno damage to a tower right as overtime's about to hit, and that is going to be Odyssey 2-0ing Fetty Wap in the semifinals. Moving on to our finals.
I mean, we
My God.
have wanted to see Inferno Dragon do
that.
that for
The whole
14
time.
quarters. We've had a lot of times
So
where
long.
actually most of our like Twitch clips, like our awesome little 30-second highlights that we put on the channel afterwards, are
Go watch them.
Inferno Dragon getting close but falling short.
I was like, is this going to be the one?
yeah, it's always so exciting, but it never quite makes it there. And that time, yeah, it was crucial to that push.
Yeah. Congratulations, Odyssey. You are moving on. What an amazing...
Fulfilling our dreams, fulfilling your dreams.
Yeah. I mean, thank you, Odyssey. Thank you so much
It's
for all
so
that.
interesting because both times we saw Odyssey win with that deck, he played his Lava Hound much in the way that you would imagine Giants being played, where you have one big Giant push coming down, the Giant walks across and has to fight through everything.
And then you have another one.
And their families. And then you drop a second Giant,
Yeah.
and then now the second Giant is like, great, I had the first in line got all the terrible minimum wage jobs.
I'm making it straight.
Now I have glory to the tower. That's how this Lava Hound deck was played. Not only did he play a second Lava Hound, he played a second Inferno Dragon and really pushed through all the defenses that
Yeah, there it is, 2-0. So he's going to go face off to Dark Force. Before we get there, let's take a quick look at the replay of that semi-final match here. Odyssey.
I'm really impressed that he was able to pull it off with this Bowler Graveyard deck. This seems like, on paper, it just looks like this deck shouldn't work, right? There's really no tank, there's no giant win condition, but we see here that with the skillful use of the Graveyard, he's able to play it and get 400, 500, 600 damage out of it, even when maybe the situations aren't great for it.
Man, I actually want to. I wish we could roll that replay again with a Bowler on that Graveyard. There was actually a very, 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 very key moment I think that happened where the Bowler was about to attack, but just on the corner, on the left corner of the Bowler, a skeleton popped up. The Bowler turned around and threw a Bowler just for that one skeleton that was super close to them. Left all the other skeletons behind the tower to just swing and swing and swing and swing. And I don't know for sure if that's what happened, but I want to see. I want to see it look at it again.
But that's actually one of the catches with Bowler against Graveyard. Bowler, depending on the placement, isn't great against Graveyard because it's a 2.5 second attack speed. So the skeletons are spawning and swarming, and he's like, and they're kind of like Princess. They're looking to attack the nearest troop, not the most efficient one, right? It's not like, oh, let me line up a perfect rock. It's just like the first thing in front. So oftentimes, as you mentioned, it's going to throw outside of the circle instead of across it like you want to.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our bracket. Woo. Look at all this craziness that happened tonight.
So we are now moving on to our finals, which is, just a reminder for everyone watching, what you've been watching up to this point, best of threes. The finals, best of five. That is right. So they can win with one of their decks twice, but they still do have to win with both of them to be declared the victor. All right, Odyssey, Dark Force are in. Now, Rumham, I will re-ask you, since we have all the facts and all the figures, who do you think has the advantage moving on?
Put that C on the board. Put it on the map.
Yeah, brand new.
Odyssey, if he was an old-timey map, he'd be filled with sea monsters and all sorts of tentacles coming out.
Are everywhere.
Definitely not just a very skilled player, a veteran of tournaments, and a very creative deck builder, whether on the ladder or in tournaments, is always playing.
And he loves
something,
spawners.
Yeah, something different than what everyone else is playing. So he's my, not just pick with my brain, but the pick with my heart to go on to the wall and join us in the arena battles.
Rainey, what about you?
I think that Dark Force has a very tough deck to defeat. I think that this
Such a
iteration.
good story, too.
Yes, that's
He
true.
wasn't even supposed to be
The Dark Force prevails.
And remember,
That's
he's
the
like
story.
A dark horse.
we were saying sell on Lava Hound, and now there's a Lava Hound mirror in the finals. So Rumham's a dumb ham.
Oh no!
Hey.
It's okay. You can make your money back some other way. Just start investing in Tornado.
That's right.
There's
Yeah.
Tornado, again, also out. But so we have Odyssey moving in. You think Dark Force has got a tough time, so you're also leaning on the side of Odyssey. I have to go with Odyssey.
I think Dark Force might be doing well. In terms of Inferno Tower minor decks and defensive nature, I think Dark Force has constructed probably the most defensible deck that I've seen so far in the Coronation days. It's just looked like impossible to get past almost.
Advantage for Odyssey, he's got lightning. So those Inferno Towers can only go so far.
True. All right, now before we get into our next match, a quick reminder for you guys. If you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and hit that share button. Watch this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. And finally, watching us on Twitch, give us that follow. This is now Dark Force versus Odyssey in the finals, game number 1. Let us know in chat who you think is going to take it. Take all of it.
My body's trying to kill itself. I'm dying to my own saliva.
But one at a time, we're all going to die here at the last round, North American Open.
Wait, no,
this couch.
Let's see if a lightning comes down. It's a little early. He does have the elixir for it, though. Opts not to. He's going to let it go.
He's just going to play the miner in. This could be pretty effective. The pups do a
the
lot of
pups-
damage. It's
yeah, the
not going to
pups
get
just
onto
gonna
the
swarm it.
tower. But
Well, actually, it might, 'cause the bowler...
Fly, pups! Fly!
They're so slow. They're just
Fly,
like
you
mom.
fools.
Really take
That
up
wasn't too bad overall, especially because you know that the Mega Minion's going to trade really well against the bowler. Odyssey's looking to try to get a graveyard out here. He's got the Ice Golem to tank. So
Here it
if he gets an opportunity, he might cast that grave. He does.
There it
Goes
is.
to 0 to do it.
Spooky, spooky. Oh.
Ooh, Minion's great answer.
Oh.
Ooh,
Ugh.
minions and archers.
Yeah.
Although, after all was said and done,
He did good.
he's
enough.
got more
Yeah.
damage on the opponent's tower than he took.
Interesting. He chose that fireball, and that evidently puts him 4 elixir behind, almost exactly. 3 elixir and a bit. But we'll see if that comes back to bite him.
Very close also, just pointing out in trophy count, both of these players. Odyssey again, Clout, Stars, Dark Force, I1 Glory 1-8, 4403 and 4483.
Here it comes. Mega Minion Lava Hound. And the miner played early. Now you do have Zap, but I don't know if you want to play it against the, he's, actually, this is interesting.
He has twice
Respectable by Dark Force, because I actually think he was expecting the push to peter out, just use his 3 elixir on the miner on the tower,
Yeah.
got guaranteed damage. Didn't try to go for a 1 hit.
Oh.
He just went for the...
Slow and steady.
Yes, slow and steady. I know that it's incredibly likely that my miner will actually hit the tower, and that's going to give me my value, not actually trying to get this Lava Hound to be
So
successful.
they're pretty close here. Well, not as
Yeah,
close
they're
anymore.
tower
But
health. Yeah.
what is going to be better in double elixir now?
I mean, kind of like the Golem deck, I would think the Lava Hound deck would be better because it feels like he's always just a little short on the push. He's got a Lava Hound, and he wants to play Miner, and you want to play Fireball and Mega Man. You know what I mean? Like, so the more elixir you have, you can put together a very diverse and powerful push. Whereas Odyssey's whole game plan really only needs, like 12 elixir, Ice Golem, Bowler, and Graveyard.
Oh, here comes a fireball. Gonna remove
Misses the
the
archers. Hits the minions.
Still, though, I think the fact that he dropped minions and archers and still took damage to the tower means that Odyssey is pretty happy with that graveyard drop. It's just not as swingy as we've seen before. Minion again tags onto the tower, and I really think this is where Dark Force is trying to gain his value. It's all coming down to how strong Dark Force's defense is. Really, how much tower... He knows that he's going to get damage with minor drops and Fireball, but can he mitigate damage from these graveyard drops?
It's crazy to me that, Odyssey has much more fragile pushes. Like, Dark Force has the much more comprehensive push, right? Like, big tank, minions backing it up, skeletons on the ground, miner coming in to help clear out the backline. There's, like, stuff in Dark Force's push, yet somehow he has a really hard time getting a significant amount of damage. Meanwhile, Odyssey's casting Graveyard into minions and archers, and he's taken tons of damage.
The big thing is every single time that Inferno Tower not only has gotten rid of the main body of the Lava Hound, but also tanked Lava Pups. So in many ways, you can think of that as a -2 to every single push that Dark Force commits to. Because it's 7 elixir from the Lava Hound, 5 for the Inferno Tower, and the Inferno Tower is mitigating the effectiveness of the Lava Hound almost completely.
Yeah. And no, oh wow, the Ice Golem froze it right as it died, slowed the pups down. But there's no lightning in this deck, which is really making it difficult to actually finish off this Inferno Tower and really push through for a lot more damage.
Oh no, minions are dropped, but there's no graveyard yet. And the archers.
Oh, now it's graveyard time.
Oh, he doesn't have a tank. Here comes the Ice Golem, and I think he's going to try to drop graveyard with this Ice Golem.
You might just try to Fireball too. I don't know how, you don't necessarily want to leave yourself wide open.
That's very true.
Weird log, doesn't need to log at all.
Might have been the cheapest cycle.
That's a good point. It's the cheapest card in his hand, yeah.
There it is, Odyssey cycling those fireballs to get the win. 1 minute and 24 seconds left. Plenty of time. He's picking up the first victory here in the finals. Again, reminder, best of 5. So we might see that deck again.
could not use minions to surpass the Inferno Tower, which was the big stopping point for Dark Force. That's
a good point.
He needed to play the minions to tank up the Inferno Tower, allow damage to hit onto the Inferno Tower, and then move his Lava Hound past it. But he always had to play his minions to stop Graveyard. And I think based on that fact and not having Lightning as well, there were just not enough options to deal with Inferno Tower and shut down that Lava Hound every single time. 7 for 5, not a good trade.
That's a good point. I wonder what else Dark Force could have played that would have made him better in that match. You know, like you definitely play archers in the back, right? Those are fine.
Yeah.
Those might get fireballed. So what else do you have that could go down there? He tried to play the tombstone behind the King Tower, but it's interesting that like it felt like Odyssey was fireballing more than any other card in his deck. He was fireballing archers, fireballing minions, fireballing tombstones. Every other card was kind of just coming up if it needed to be played, but the card that almost was always fired when it was in his hand was the fireball itself.
What's really cool to see about that too is we've seen so many times going into overtime, right? It's the first tower to fall, and people, we get like, oh, they were just maybe 15, 80 damage off, 150 damage off. So getting those early fireballs or just trying to get some value early on is great, because that way when it comes down to it, you still have that chance to take a tower down with that. Odyssey, one game, and there you go, fireballing again right off the bat.
The challenge here is that Dark Force can't really present anything to punish a fireball. Like his archers are getting fireballed at the tower, minions get fireballed, but there's like nothing really after. There's no minion horde, there's no like barbarians, there's no thing that you immediately do after to be like, aha, got you.
Ooh, a big zap, and the minions will actually take down that Inferno Tower. And this is the first time we've actually seen the Lava Hound get past it. Miner is a little bit late, but will actually end up tanking as this last Lava Pup falls. They're so slow!
You can make it.
Ice Golem.
Every time.
2008.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It negates the counter push with the archers and other spells and the lava pups, clearing out any remaining troops. We go back to a reset. Yeah, the years of when I was rewatching yesterday's Coronation Day, when we started talking about the years and the history facts, somebody went, "Oh, quit talking about history! School's out!" Like,
I'm watching this. I'm not doing homework because of this.
Yeah.
Tell us about 2008.
Historical year.
Yep,
Real historical year.
Yes, something happened.
The App Store actually was launched in 2008.
Obama.
Was it really?
Wow.
Yeah.
App Store was launched in
The
2008.
app, because the iPhone came out in 2007, the App Store didn't come out till a year later.
Wow.
So think about this, all of mobile gaming that we're watching here with Clash Royale leading the way is
my God.
like not even 10 years old.
Yeah, no, doesn't that blow your mind?
Crazy to think.
10 years ago, Apple wasn't the biggest company in the world.
I remember when my computer, when I wanted to go on the internet, told me, bloop, bleep, beep, woo.
Oh yeah, kids today, they don't even know.
No, they have no idea.
I just sounded like a
Millennials.
crazy person right there. People were like, what is he doing?
No, my younger brother's like Ella's age, and like the difference between our internet experience is light and day. When he first got the internet, like eBay was already a thing. Like the internet did stuff.
Oh, wow.
I remember making like Angel Fire pages and stuff. GeoCities.
Oh, God.
Taking it way back.
Oh yeah.
There's a big fireball for Dark Force, and it seems like he's trying to claw his way back into this game again. Odyssey just seems to be trading out in many situations just a little bit better.
Yeah, the mechanical skill's really coming down to it here. I'm surprised that this deck that's almost entirely air troops is struggling so much to deal with bowlers and the like. You know what I mean? I feel like on paper, this deck should do really, really well. The Lava Hound deck should do really well against this bowler graveyard deck, but it's not quite happening. Woo! It's a good swarm, though.
Got the Mega Minion leading the charge, and they will convert.
A little bit.
Oh!
Fireball says nay.
That might be the equalizer, because now the fireball can't be used to hit the tower, and another Lava Hound pushes on the way, but I think it might have been just a little bit too greedy. The fact that it was the Mega Minion actually does get it. The zap is super key. Here comes the Miner to tank, and the Lava Hound is really close to the tower when it pops.
Oh, wow.
There's a
Fireball
big
going out
fireball.
to clear it. Dark Force
whoa,
looks like he's
Tying
got
it
the
up.
swarm one hit, and that is going to do it into overtime, tying it up 1-1 here in the finals.
Dark Force fighting
Wow.
back fiercely. The fact that he was able to zap the Inferno Tower this time and have the Mega Minion survive and have that do damage to the Inferno Tower, such a big difference when the Lava Hound is so close to the tower. Where the Lava Pups pop is so important because they move almost backwards. They move so slow.
Especially when they got slowed from an ice golem.
Yeah, and we talk about lines of play often, like you sequence your cards in a certain order in order to, get the desired result. Maybe Dark Force, maybe halfway through the last game, figured out what he was supposed to be doing, but already you're at a cycle,
too
you're
late.
playing defense,
Sure.
you don't have an opportunity to be like, all right, everyone just stop,
I like that.
chill out, back
Yeah.
to 10. So starting the second game, he sort of knew what he needed to do. But of course, we're playing best of 5, so this isn't a game 3. This is really the start of a best of 3, sort of, kinda. I mean, they can always play one of their other deck twice, right? So it's not a true best of 3. But at this point, they're going to have to win to make 2 more wins each.
Yep.
And have to win at least once with their other deck.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
How does Dark Force make the ultimate comeback here? Take it.
I mean, I think that minor control deck is going to do really well for him. I think that if I'm Dark Force, I'll probably switch to that deck. I've gotten my win with the Lava Hound, and fine, switch to it. Although, admittedly, if Odyssey is committed to playing that bowler deck, Lava Hound is a pretty good matchup against it, I think.
We'll see what he brings. Again, it is all tied up here 1-1 into the finals. He's going to take the next victory, putting them one more game away from $2,000.
This is the exact same opening as last game. If a fireball comes out, I will. Okay. All right.
Good thing you didn't finish that sentence.
Yeah.
Whew. You won't have to do it. Whew.
I was just gonna say I was gonna buy myself an ice cream sundae, but
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I know.
The nice part about being an adult, you can make up your own rules.
Really? Dang it!
Remind me of Flying Dynamite right there.
My stepdad used to always do the, I was gonna take you to get ice cream, but you didn't clean your room. And I'm like, oh, tell me that in advance!
You're like, oh, thanks.
Unfair.
That's
Minor
actually
is-
a really good strategy.
Yeah, taking notes.
Parenting.
So Odyssey, through all that, Dark Force did manage to sneak a minor that pretty much did a
Max
full,
damage, yeah.
it's full damage to the tower, and that worked out really well for him.
Again, what was the maximum damage of a miner?
It's a little more than 500, about 500.
Yeah.
I just say 500 because it's a square number.
Yeah, and I think the zap came down as well and helped contribute to it and things like that.
There you go. Graveyard. Archers in the
Archers
back.
are ready. Fight. Oh, and the minions. You know what? And I think this might be a little bit overkill. One thing that really hurt Dark Force was he was committing both minions and archers.
Oh, no.
The archers were juking and jiving.
I wonder if Odyssey
Oh, wow.
thought the graveyard was going to end before it did, and they were going to start walking
Yeah.
up anyway.
That's what I think it
God.
was too. Because I think it's more risky to play it too far back because the minions move really fast. So if you play it a little too far back, the minions will easily scoot mob out of there. So you want to make sure that it's aimed right. But unfortunately, the archers were the ones who walked backwards.
Odyssey got hit by such a big counters push. Just the Mega Minion and the minions alone did so much damage to the right side tower. 1, 2, 4, 0. Really have to judge whether you want to spend that 9 elixir or not, because you could take a beating for it.
Trash can.
I was just thinking that everyone's favorite trash can bat crossing the river right now.
Back.
All right, this Lava Hound is just about to
Oh,
pop.
bowler turned around.
I think
the miner off.
this time around, going with the strategy of just playing your miners on the tower and trying to fireball is actually going to be really effective for Dark Force because he took a very early lead. Whereas before, when he was playing miners and just letting his Lava Hound get eaten up by Inferno Towers, even though he was getting a little bit of chip with the miner, he couldn't outpace Odyssey's graveyard drops. But this time around, he definitely can.
Yeah. So now, with 20 seconds left until overtime, it looks like a fireball cycle could win the game, or just a very powerful Lava Hound push. Oh, that one misses the tower, and that's why the oops comes out.
We can never count out graveyard. We've seen
Not at
how
all.
quickly that card can just eliminate a tower.
Yes.
And if that fireball had hit, that tower, Odyssey's tower would have been within 2 fireballs. It's been a fireball
there it
cycle.
is.
Oh, the minion's got to come
Turn
down.
around.
Hero's going through. The log goes out, knocks it. One archer is going to live. Fireball, but it looks like it might just be a little too late.
And there's nothing tanking for it at this point. Oh, no, I think it's the counter push. The Lava Hound gets to the tower because he didn't have enough for the Inferno.
Wow, look at the good game coming out there from Odyssey, and Dark Force going to pick up his second, putting himself one more game away from $2,000, a ticket to the arena battles, potentially further on $15,000, and a chance to go visit Supercell.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I knew he could do it. From back.
What a close back and forth series. I feel like Dark Force had a very hard time in the first game dealing with what Odyssey had to offer. But in these next 2 games, played really well. Thing is, the name of the game changes, right? Because now Odyssey only has his minor deck to rely on. If it's not quite as effective...
Dark Force.
Right, Dark Force only has his minor deck to rely on. And so...
You can't break past the...
Yes, it's going to be very
done.
difficult. Yeah, it could. We've seen so many Coronation days where a player wins 2, runs out of his primary deck.
Goes to the next one and just can't quite find the win. So
Yeah.
we'll see if that happens right now for Dark Force. Still, anything can happen. Odyssey might be able to take this. One thing that I was reminded during that match is, I remember just 3, maybe 4 Coronations ago, we were talking about how you just don't see Fireball. Fireball is just not a card that we see a lot. Yeah, everyone's running Lightning. Lightning's just so strong.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing Fireball
And almost no
a
lightning.
lot.
Yeah.
So what was the change? What really made the
People
switch?
quit playing easy Fireball targets, like however easy Lightning targets, right? People were really consistently playing Mega Minion, Musketeer, Knight. Ice Wizard,
Giant
for
Bowler.
example, has taken a big hit because Ice Wizard needs not only the damage itself, but another damage source to help it. And when those two, that was like the perfect Lightning setup, was Ice Wizard plus anything.
All right, well, here we go again, guys. One more win from Dark Force, and that is going to be the third and the victory. Let's see if Odyssey can tie it up and put this into a critical game 5.
It already begins. The furnace is placed, the Inferno Tower is placed, and the miners begin clawing their way across the map. Dark Force is ready to bunker in.
And again, Odyssey's sticking with this bowler deck. He really believes in this bowler graveyard. I don't know if it's necessarily shocking, but it is really loyal to a deck that I just cannot seem to put together. Like, I look at him, I don't know.
How does it win?
It's almost entirely chip damage and opportunistic graveyards. It's definitely more of a control deck, right? It's not like that kind of clear beatdown plan. We've seen the Golem graveyard decks and the Giant graveyard decks. Those are aggressive. I mean, those are coming at you, and they're going to try to
Every
make
time.
you choose between a tank and a graveyard, and you can't deal with it. This deck doesn't actually seem that committed to the graveyard, really.
I think it's here just in case.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to play the archers away from the tower, then I'm going to graveyard you.
I mean, we definitely haven't seen it used defensively, so clearly using it for an offensive purpose. All right, Fireball coming out, gonna hit the Mega Minion.
And the Ice Golem. Good value.
One, and then go, get him. Get him, Fire Spirit, get him.
Oh.
Oh! Wow! What yeah.
I think Odyssey knew. I think that was not an accident.
Yeah, absolutely. Dark Force, given the well played there.
Genius.
He's like, these guys are going to drop a princess right at the river again.
Right now.
I'm not falling for it again.
This is the thing to look out for at these top levels, where people just know the cycles that people get into. They can see patterns, they try to predict them. That's what really separates these from the rest.
Now, we've already seen Dark Force just crush graveyard decks in almost every round that he's played in, because the combination of Inferno Tower, Princess, Skeleton Army makes it really hard just to get your graveyard off. He almost has to save the log for the graveyard and throw it as soon as the graveyard starts spawning to kill the Skeleton Army.
And we did see that, and we saw it work super effectively, so that'll be interesting to see if Odyssey can find that again here. And that being said, the towers on both of these very even until that Fireball came out.
Right.
Ooh, bowler in the graveyard. That is a good way to keep off that Skeleton Army, but still at least 5 or 6 remain. Be just fine defending.
One archer.
Go! Keep him out. Oh, Fire Spirits.
This time it's going to be Ice Golem Bowler moving their way across the map, and the Ice Golem actually gets tagged on by the Inferno Tower, and I don't know if there's a good card in hand for Odyssey to deal with that. He actually plays the Mega Minion and further tanks it up, but Mega Minion on Dark Force's side will chew through the Bowler's health.
Ooh. Oh, the archers do get hit. Downside, let's see if that knocks it into the archer.
Oh, that would have been sad.
Save some damage.
That would have been real sad. All right, well, here we go. Fireball coming out again, hitting the furnace. Oh, right after the Inferno Tower was placed, so no damage onto that. We are into overtime. Again, reminder, 1 tower going down. That is going to end the game. Odyssey needs to tie this one up, or Dark Force will win $2,000 in our Coronation title.
Big log. I mean, for everything we're talking about, Odyssey has actually chipped away a lot of damage onto Dark Force's tower. Here comes a big graveyard drop again. Fireball! But a few of the skeletons are tagging onto the furnace.
The well play goes out, and Odyssey is going to find that 1 tower, which is going to tie it up, and we are going into critical game 5 here.
Oh my goodness.
In the finals, Coronation number 14.
They stayed so close the whole time.
Absolutely. He'd been saving the fireball. I mean, not saving, I'm sorry. He'd been firing it on every furnace, anything that was nearby that was worth shooting. And I think at some point he just went like, all right, we'll just save it up. Don't fire it right now. Let me just try to put a push together, and if I can graveyard and fireball, of course, during double elixir, you have extra elixir to play with. Was able to get this. I mean, he predicted that wrong. If that Skeleton Army came down 1 second later,
that was a good complete waste.
Right, like you're back to like, oh, I guess I'll lose the game now.
4 elixir gone.
But twice there in that game, he had the predictive log, killed the princess, predictive fireball. Odyssey really showing his veteran scars here in order to pull that game out deep into overtime.
Now that's the thing. Now, if you're Dark Force and you're kind of paying attention, do you know Oh, Odyssey didn't fireball yet, so I guess I shouldn't.
It's actually a very tough situation. One of the key things about playing Clash Royale at a high level is you need to know when you want to push all in, right? And the tower health has been chipped low enough that Odyssey knew if I commit to a pre-fireball now, it's going to put Dark Force into a really, really uncomfortable position, right? We always talk about, okay, these pre-fires are actually kind of, you know, they look very impressive. They look like they're just reading your opponent, but sometimes it's actually the strategical, absolute right choice, because if they don't play the card, then and they just let the graveyard just build up skeletons and attack you, if they don't play the skeleton army at that exact moment, they might take enough damage anyways to lose to a spell cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like if you, graveyard puts you in this spot where it's like, well, maybe I hold it, but I can't really not play anything either.
All right, you needed to play a card.
Here it is, guys. The next victory is going to decide our winner.
Ooh, missed lightning early on by Odyssey.
Somebody's going home with $1,000 and a chance to win $50,000 down the road.
And these two.
Mess it up.
Remember, Odyssey,
No pressure.
Odyssey is the one who's actually running the Lava Hound deck right now.
Oh, the log missed the miner. It's going to get the full 500. No, has to play the minions as well.
Let's see, the minions, 3-cost minions all on their own are a pretty big threat. The Furnace goes to meet them.
Hi.
That's a pretty good counter, right? 4 elixir to 3 elixir, but you get to keep a building after. Not too bad.
Yep. Still does stuff.
I wonder why. I wonder if he's, because unlike an Expo deck, he doesn't really need to get rid of that Inferno or the Tombstone quickly, right? There's no rush there. But I think Dark Force just wants to sit back, never really attack at all with his deck. It's such a defensive control deck. So he's just fireballing just because it's something to fireball.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
And gets damage on the tower as well. So
it's up to Odyssey to actually put together these really threatening Lava Hound pushes, but it seems like he's kind of waiting for his turn.
Oh, there's a push. I have to play log to get rid of that skeleton army, I think.
Where is it?
Oh, it's going to be the Ice Golem. Good answer. Ice Golem is one of the best answers to skeleton army because for 2 costs, you basically get all the skeletons to attack the Ice Golem, and then the Ice Golem wipes them all out.
Right.
Odyssey can't sit back here forever, though. I guess he's going to wait, kind of like how Golem decks do, just waiting until double elixir to really start putting together his Lava Hound pushes. I expect, Lava Hound to start coming out.
All right. There it is. We are now in double elixir time.
Ooh, he does have lightning, so let's see if he opens up with that.
Can you get all of them?
Hey, and even took out one of those mean old fire spirits while he's at it. And that's a pretty healthy Lava Hound, but unfortunately the Mega Minion walked ahead. Yeah. Ooh, but this actually doesn't even need to use log. The minions here will just clean house.
Just like walking into a blender.
Yeah,
There's nothing going past him.
Mega Minion's so good. Mega Minion even wins that fight. How crazy is that? Like, it kills all 3 minions by himself. Yeah.
What do you play the Inferno Dragon against in this scenario? I don't know if there's a good Inferno Dragon
miner
drop.
maybe? Like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
There, even then, the miner is getting.
I only got 1 or 2 hits. It's not too bad. It heats up pretty quick, and mine doesn't have a lot of hit points, so.
Yeah, I think the problem is when it comes down to when it gets to the point where you can't let the miner get 1 or 2 swings off, and you only have something like an Inferno Dragon to drop, that's not helping you either.
Yeah, advantageous here for Odyssey is that the Inferno Tower came out, but now the Lava Hound is approaching it, right? So if he either drops the minions in front or just lightnings it right now, maybe you can play another Inferno Tower.
I think he's got it in cycle,
yeah.
Good thing to also know, Inferno Tower longer range than Inferno Dragon.
Yes, definitely, much longer range. Let's see if another Lava Hound comes out at the river. Like, I wonder if that's the plan, is to like try to outcycle it. But his deck is so cheap. I mean, Princess, Zap, Miner, these are all really low-cost cards that make it hard to catch someone out of cycle, you know what I mean? Uh-oh, but here we come. And now if an Inferno Tower comes down, we've already got the Inferno Dragon to lock onto.
Back it up, lightning.
Wow.
He's saving it up. He's only at 3 elixir right now. He needs 3 more.
That Zap did a really good job. Oh, the Inferno Dragon just can't make it through.
Oh, wow.
And I think if I'm Odyssey, I'm starting to get a little stumped here, right? Like, I'm not exactly sure what I have that can get through that tower. Definitely let the Princess just shoot on the left side for a while. You can ignore her for the most part.
Yeah.
Great minions on the side to cover for any Inferno Tower placement.
Oh, the Inferno Tower is so close, and the minions did so much damage.
Lightning goes down.
But there's no miner in this deck.
We'll see if it's
nice use of the log. The Princess would have been key.
Right before, but there's lava puff.
Wow! But look at how much damage is done onto the tower already. It's getting really close to spell cycle range, and your spell is lightning.
Every single HP point matters right now because the next tower to go down will declare the victor for $2,000.
Ooh, and he's just cycling.
He's doing it. He's going for it.
Defend it.
That might be the undoing of
Fireball.
Odyssey, though.
Oh, wait.
All right, so he's still in tight.
He just has to get one. The counter push for Dark Force was not enough to justify.
You gotta go now, Dark Force. Arena is all over. 6 elixir is all that Odyssey needs.
He's trying to put high health structures next to his tower to prevent the lightning from
Oh,
happening.
that's smart. That's absolutely right. It's not gonna be enough. Not high enough. Good sportsmanship coming up there from Dark Force, and that is gonna be Odyssey, our victor, our champion of Coronation number 14.
Congratulations.
Wow.
That was
Game? I mean,
Bananas.
how many times in the Coronation days have we seen thousands of dollars decided on hundreds of hit points? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only a little bit there. That game could have gone either way, but Odyssey, I think, just, especially because the first couple Lava Hounds didn't look very good, right?
Yeah.
They didn't think they were going anywhere.
That was
but he
scary.
just kept switching up his line of play over and over again. Finally found an opening, and happy to add him to the board, going home with $2,000, and we'll see him in the arena battles.
There it is. All right, our replay is ready there for the finals. Let's take a look at the beautiful Graveyard.
Graveyard has been such a key card, and Odyssey had a lot of faith in this deck. And I think we're going to show why. I mean, you could arguably say that Dark Force put together some of the most effective counter cards to Graveyard. He placed not only just archers, but minions as well, and still was able to stop these Graveyards from really doing big.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Skeleton Army is one of the most risky defenses against Graveyard because even a zap, if your zap is well placed, even if there's 1 or 2 skeletons left for that Graveyard.
Let's catch it out. Minions here in the middle are though to block the Inferno Tower. Inferno Tower comes down desperately at the very end, but it was already lined up, and the lightning was ready and queued up. Immediately takes it off the board as soon as it comes down, and that lets the Lava Hound at least get close. Yes, that log was really critical to keep the princess from splashing onto the pups. He has to fireball instead, but even then, like, taking a couple hundred damage isn't great for a Lava Hound push, but when you're within spell cycle range, you'll take it, right?
Yeah, every single.
take it.
I almost wondered, I want to go back and do the math, if he had chosen, because there was only maybe 2 pups left, and not really much else left in that push, if there was a world where he could have gotten away with not fireballing the pups, but fireballing the tower, and then throwing a miner and fireballing it again.
Oh, if that would have been
If
enough.
he had sacrificed, because he would need to sacrifice enough health, but not so much that a lightning and log would end it.
Yeah.
He would still need enough health where it would take a lightning log and maybe another log.
I think that was the right play, but he needed to hit those last 2 pups as well, because if those last 2 pups didn't get the damage in, I think it would have taken 3 lightnings, or like 2 lightnings plus something else, right?
Yes,
and he wouldn't have
perhaps.
had the ability to like cast log on the princesses in the middle. He would have had to go for the tower and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure Dark Force knows. I'm sure he's gonna be up tonight, like
researching.
I would have been.
He made it so far after not
Yeah,
supposed to.
$500.
$500.
Not bad.
Did it, Dark Force. Let's take a look at our bracket. So, Rumham Randy, walk us through this crazy, crazy night that we had.
Dark Force continually, I mean, after kind of getting the DQ victory against Mr. B-Boy, Dark Force turned it up. And I think his Minor Inferno cycle was very, very strong.
Yeah.
Very defensible. Until he faced Odyssey, where I think he critically made a mistake with Inferno Tower placement. I think that he gave Odyssey 1 too many lightnings. I still would very much like to see a statistic on which cards do the most damage to the towers, like a pie chart maybe of like, did X amount of damage. I bet you that lightning is up there.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
spells in
I
general.
mean, we watched that one game where Odyssey won because he threw like 10 fireballs, and that was how he won the game. You know what I mean?
Right when it started, fireball, fireball, fireball. All right, well, congratulations to Odyssey. A great name, a great performance. $2,000 is what you are taking home, my friend, and you are also moving on to the arena battles. If you guys want a chance at this, you only have 2 coronations left, 15 and 16 to do this, so go over to ClashRoyaleOpen.com where you guys could sign up and potentially be the next Odyssey. There's our schedule. The next one, our next broadcast is going to be on Wednesday, the 16th at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then our final coronation the next day, Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. If you guys aren't in it, make sure you guys are here watching. It is going to be Clash Royale history.
And if you've got Coronation tickets, smoke them if you got them.
You gotta go now.
Like,
No more sitting on them. You gotta make sure you do it.
ClashRoyaleOpen.com. Do it.
Do it. Make sure you guys are over there. Also, thank you all for watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We really appreciate the follows, the subscribes, and the shares. Again, my grandmother really appreciates watching these, and she loves all those little hearts that fly by. All of them. Every single heart. Final thoughts for you guys before the night is done.
I mean, I'm really glad that we're seeing another set of great players, advance, not just make money, but of course move on to the arena battles. With only 2 coronations left, my heart is starting to ache for all the good players who aren't going to make it. So you've got 2 more shows to not be that person. You know?
Make sure you don't break. Do you want to break Birmingham's heart? Do you want to break his heart? No, you don't. Make sure you guys do that, or that's what's going to happen for the next 2 broadcasts. We don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
I was in a former life. I was a pug.
I was really I thought it was like a turtle, like looking for like lettuce. But
Oh yeah, that is
a lot of animals.
yeah, that's a lot of animals in a former life. Ready?
The meta is a cycle. The meta is a circle. Lava Hound is back.
Bye.
Expo's not. Expo got
Expo's
close,
not.
but it did not make it to the finals.
When it got to the point where it was Expo, it just like skipped past that part.
Everyone's like, no, not again, not again.
Expo, X-Bye.
Yeah, hey, that's it. And on that one, we have to say X-bye to you guys on behalf of everyone here at the NGE Studios in Burbank, California. This has been the official Supercell Clash Royale North American Open. That is Rome, Ham, and Rainey.
I'm Ella.
I'm Toma.
Have a most ridiculous night.
X.
We already did. It was really ridiculous.
X-bye.
I can't believe it.
We're done. We gotta quit.
Only 2 more days left.
Oh no.